With the 6 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brattig.
Complete windscreen supply and fit, front, rear and door glass. Proudly South Australian since 1976.
The freeway is closed around Stirling after a crash on the up track between a car and a truck. There are no serious injuries, but the truck's on the concrete barrier in the middle of the freeway. One lane of the up track will soon be open, but for now is closed between Waverley Ridge Road Bridge and the Stirling ramp. For those coming into the city, the down track's also affected. Only 2 lanes are open in the area, currently at 40 k's an hour. Emergency crews are on the scene. The police investigation into the Hunter Valley wedding bus crash will continue for some time, despite the driver appearing in court charged over 10 deaths. More from Clinton Maynard.
58-year-old Brett Button has spent the night with family in Maitland. Over the next 2 months, he will need to abide by strict bail conditions before his next appearance in a Newcastle court. During that time, police will continue to build the case against him and have indicated there will be additional charges. Already they've taken evidence from 10 witnesses who allege Button was speeding and told them to fasten their seatbelts. More survivors will be interviewed as they're released from hospital.
Former US President Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty to 37 charges in a Miami court. He's become the country's first former leader to face a federal criminal indictment, accused of taking boxes of classified documents from the White House to his resort in Mar-a-Lago and obstructing efforts to get them back. His motorcade stopped at a bakery on the way back from the courthouse and is now heading to the airport. 3 people are dead and a man's in police custody after a stabbing attack in England. More from Curry-Ann Greenbank.
Here in Nottingham, a 31-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder and is now in custody after a string of attacks that began at around 4 o'clock this morning when 2 19-year-old university students were stabbed to death on a street in Nottingham city centre. A third person was then found dead on a street nearby. That was a man in his 50s. He had been stabbed as well. Police believe the suspect then stole his victim's van and used it to plough into 3 people, injuring all of them and leaving one man in a critical condition. Police say they are keeping an open mind about the motive for the attack and haven't ruled out terrorism.
11 people have been killed in a Russian missile attack which has struck a block of units and warehouses in Ukraine. The blasts were felt in the hometown of Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. None of the targets had military links. Police in Canada are continuing to search for an Australian woman who's gone missing while hiking. 24-year-old Julia Mary Lane failed to return from a trip at Bear Lake on the weekend. Her car has since been found. Mounted police are searching nearby bushland for any sign of her. And an Australian woman's died while walking in Peru after being attacked by more than 100 bees. The 78-year-old was walking her dog when the insects ambushed her, leaving her with 100 stings on her face alone. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide's players will have a light run at Adelaide Oval today as they prepare for tomorrow night's blockbuster clash against the reigning premiers Geelong. The Power will be without defender Lockie Jones, who's out with a fractured jaw. He suffered late in the game against the Bulldogs. Teammate Aliyah telling Rowie and Timmy G it's unfortunate for Jones.
No, I didn't find out till after the game, but he fractured his jaw, so it sucks for him. I think he's got a month on the sideline, but I'm sure he'll do whatever it takes to get back into the team.
Ryan Burton looms as the most likely to replace Jones, with the teams to be released later this afternoon. Still on football, Hawthorn captain James Sicily has been banned for 3 matches after appearing before the tribunal for a tackle on Hugh McCluggage, which left the Lions midfielder concussed. McCluggage's teammate Lockie Neal has told AFL 360 he's tried to avoid watching the replays.
It's pretty hard to watch and feel for James. It's really hard in that split second to control what happens with the other player, with your tackling movement. For me, I just know that if a player hits their head on the ground at the moment, it's going to be looked at. So you've got to try your best not to do that.
Richmond's Ryan Mansell was also banned for 3 games, but St Kilda's Dan Butler had his 1-match suspension overturned. And Ariane Titmus has fallen 2 seconds short of reclaiming her 400 metres freestyle world record, but comfortably secured a spot on the Australian team for next month's World Championships in Japan. Sam Short won the men's 400 metre free at the trials in Melbourne last night. Kaylee McEwen winning the 200 metre individual medley. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the weather, a shower or two today, heading for 16, a shower or two tomorrow, 17, sunny on Friday up to 19, and then showers developing on Saturday, 17. At the moment, 12. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
The Cherry Motor 5. State-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
6 after 7, good morning to you. Welcome to Wednesday. It is the 14th of June. Really fun morning ahead. We're going to be chatting with Port Adelaide legend Gavin Wanganeen after 6:30 today. We might throw a question at him about Port's record-winning run at the moment, but more so about his twinkle toes. He's appearing in the new series of Dancing with the Stars. I actually think this one might suit him, maybe more so than his previous foray into Survivor. I suspect his coordination will stand him in good stead for Dancing with the Stars. We'll talk about that after 6:30. After 7 o'clock, we're off to Miami. We'll get the latest on Donald Trump's court appearance, where we've heard in the last hour and a half he pled not guilty to all charges for obstructing the collection of classified documents, for holding them in a state that's not appropriate for things of that level of classification. So we'll talk more about that then. Sean Fuster on the program. We'll go around the courts with Sean. Raz Fantasia. And a little bit later, his first chat with us since retiring from the Sunrise couch. David Koch. Will he sleep in? Will he wake up? Will he answer the call? Looking forward to chatting with Koshy after 8:30. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, folks. Good morning, Will. Imagine that. Well, you ring Koshy and it's like, hi, you've contacted David. I'm not available right now. Please leave a message and I'll get back to you. And he's just tangled in the old eider-down.
Doesn't get up before 10 a.m.
If there's a bloke who deserves a sleeping in Australia right now, it's David Koch.
Completely.
Like, breakfast radio is one thing, but, and this really isn't a state secret, for those of you who have subjected yourself to the intense experience that is viewing on the live stream, particularly at this time of day, it's not it lacks the same visual panache that being on national television does.
Attention to detail.
Yeah. I did notice this morning as I got in the car, I thought, it's funny, the entire right-hand side of my head, all my hair's sticking out at a right angle.
Headphones fix that.
Headphones do.
Yeah.
There's a way of suppressing wayward hair, which you can't get away with when you're David Koch. Not that he had a real problem suppressing his hair. He didn't really have
Well, that was one low maintenance part of the get-up.
That's right.
Looking forward to chatting with Koch. That's coming up a little bit later. But there is a big story, certainly for Hills commuters this morning as we wake up. There's been a big crash on the uptrack. The freeway is closed around Stirling. There was a collision between a car and a truck. Kylie Simpson from Sapole has more. Kylie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So what's happened there?
Yeah, it's actually a single truck crash. It's jackknifed and it ended up on the concrete barrier in the middle of the freeway. So at the moment, the up track is closed to all traffic, and it will be probably for the next hour. But the down track, they're hoping to open all the lanes shortly, but it's going to be at very restricted speed. So at the moment, I think there's 2 lanes operating for the down track, but they will be open shortly, but like I said, just at very slow speed.
Is there any word on the person in the car? Are they okay, Kylie?
Yeah, it's just a truck. So they're thankfully they're not seriously injured. So that's great news. But it's more just for commuters, especially people going back up to home, I guess, after your night shifts and stuff. There's going to be a big delay. And for people coming into work, there's going to be definitely limited speeds. This morning. So
if you are one of those workers, folks, give us a call, 8223 0000. We'd love to hear from you. So, Kylie, just to be exactly clear, where is the truck exactly?
Yeah, it's just after the Stirling on-ramp for outbound traffic. So I think, people that travel that road all the time will totally know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, just after the Stirling on-ramp for outbound traffic. So,
are there any...
and it's
Sorry, Kylie, are there any working theories as to what caused the truck to jackknife?
No, there's not. It happened about 2:20 this morning, so at this stage it's too early for us to speculate how it happened, but it's more just we want to get that message out there for people on the roads, because if you can avoid that way home or that way, definitely avoid it.
Yeah, better there than the other way, I guess, at this time of day, but and good to hear that the driver's okay.
Thank you for that, Kylie. We appreciate that. We'll check in with Sapole again before 7 o'clock. Kylie Simpson, Senior Constable on duty in the excellent media unit there. So I guess
must be mechanical failure, because otherwise Surely we're at a point now where every single truck driver knows that you've got to take it nice and slow coming down the hill into Adelaide.
Well, you'd think so.
That gradient, though, it's really hard to control.
Well, remember when we had a spate of those incidents at the bottom of the intersection there, we spoke with a bunch of truckies spoke to us and said, look, it's not the fact that it's a steep gradient, and you often get it coming into cities, in various cities around Australia, you often coming down a hill. It's just that it goes on forever.
Yeah,
it's the length of time you go rolling downhill that takes a lot of people who don't drive through there regularly by surprise.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, you can feel it driving in a car, let alone having, hundreds of tons of weight behind you in a massive road train.
Daryl and Mount Barker's called in. Morning to you, Daryl.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Coming down to the airport this morning from the hills, when you've got a prime mover and it's eastbound, and as you know, when you go past the Stirling off exit heading east, the road veers to the right. This prime mover, he is facing south on the middle of the concrete barrier. He's not facing east. And I've got to tell you, they come over the top of Crayford and they put their foot down. And I've got to tell you, the quality of these drivers, I can actually tell you who's at the wheel, and I'm not going to go any further on that. The quality of these drivers has to be assessed. Yeah. It is an unbelievable sight to see where that truck is positioned, guys, this morning.
How soon, Daryl, after it happened, were you travelling through the area?
I came down from Bridgewater. I picked up at Bridgewater at 5 a.m. Okay? So I'm now on the city side of the freeway. They said that, like, all the semis are from Stirling all the way down the freeway because they can't go past the incident. So, obviously, I'm just going to go to OTR and have a coffee. I can't get back up at the moment. But the position of this truck wheel, listen, seriously, no disrespect to our law enforcement, this road needs to be patrolled 24/7. If I can assess as a professional driver who is at the wheel of those prime movers, they don't meet standard. I'm very sorry to say, I know people have to make a living, but I can tell you who is at the wheel of those vehicles, how they are being driven, Will, and that is absolutely on my heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, Daryl, we appreciate your local knowledge as well, mate. Sounds like you're travelling that area a lot. That scene that Daryl describes is pretty extraordinary. We haven't got independent confirmation of that as yet, but we'd love to hear from you on 8223 0000 or text us on the Duttons text line if it is as dramatic as Daryl makes it out. I mean, you can only imagine how dramatic it may have been if it had played out during the daylight hours. But again, details are scant at this point in time, so we'll try to chase up as much as we possibly can. And as I say, SAPOL coming up again a little bit later. 14 after 6, what we might do is take a quick break. We'll reset and check some news headlines for you next.
Australia is having a conversation about the referendum being held later this year.
So what's it about?
It's about whether we should change the Constitution to recognise the First Peoples of Australia by setting up an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice.
The voice will be a permanent body.
And it'd give independent advice to the Parliament and Government on matters that affect First Nations people.
Be ready for the conversation.
Visit voice.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive of Western Hospital, Henley Beach. We all hear that access to general practitioners is increasingly difficult. Healthcare costs are escalating and many question the value for money when accessing GPs. Western GP Clinic are proud to boast a level of care and expertise encompassing a holistic approach, whilst providing a value option. To discuss your GP questions, call 1300 934 325. That's 1300 934 325 or visit westernhospitalgp.com.au.
You know, there's a really simple way to be sure the ham you're buying is made from Australian pork. You just look for a pink box on your packs. That way, you'll know the pork comes fresh from our farms.
And not shipped in from overseas!
Yep. A pink box on your pack also means the ham has passed Australia's strict quality controls. So your ham will taste great. So for true Australian quality, Just pick a pack with a pink pork logo. Thanks a lot.
If you thought it was tricky to source a great end of financial year deal on a new Volkswagen, think again. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen has loaded up on new stock. That's a massive range of new and demo Volkswagens available for delivery right now. Loads of colours, loads of options. Plus on-site finance options available. Get in now and secure your new Volkswagen before the end of financial year. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
UniSuper's low fees and long-term performance put your future first. Awarded CanStar 2023 Outstanding Value. Join at unisuper.com.au. Past performance is not an indicator of future performance. Consider UniSuper's PDS and TMD on its website before making decisions.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Save even more on a low mileage demo Cherry Emotive 5 now at Cherry Glen Osmond. Go Cherry.
16 after 6 news headlines time on this Wednesday, the 14th of June. We'll cross to the US after 7, but former US President Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty to 37 charges as he faces a Miami court. He'll become the country's first former leader to face a federal criminal indictment, accused of taking boxes of classified documents from the White House to his resort in Mar-a-Lago and obstructing efforts to get them back.
We're talking about the traffic problems on the southeastern freeway earlier. The bit of traffic on the thoroughfares of Florida at the moment as well.
The motorcade.
They've got a sort of O.J. Simpson style ticker of the presidential motorcade. I was just saying to Will during the ad break, taking the family on the one and only entire family trip of a lifetime starting in December in Dallas. What are the odds that America's in the midst of what you could formally describe as a civil war at that point?
I don't think it's high, but it's higher than zero.
Yeah, it is higher. It is higher than zero, isn't it?
Which is discomforting.
There's people lining the streets there, screaming abuse, saying the whole thing's a fix and a set up and a stitch up and a sham in the same way the last election was apparently a sham. At one point, the crowd broke out into song because it's the president's 77th birthday on Thursday. So they decided to sing happy birthday to him as he drove past in his car. The level of zealotry in that country is off the charts, isn't it?
Well, and both sides use language that suggests the other side aren't just ideologically opposed to them. They don't believe in America.
Oh, exactly.
And it's the sort of term, it wouldn't work in Australia. You can't really shout that about, your opponents politically in Australia, that, you don't love Australia. People just go, oh, whatever. But in America, that carries a lot of weight, and it dehumanises both political camps.
Yeah, that's right.
They both do it. And that's how you lead to serious conflict, when you stop seeing them as fellow citizens to be reasoned with.
Well, having said that, I'm going to unload a bit later on. I reckon yesterday it was the most disgusting waste of money I can remember in the history of the Australian Parliament.
Okay.
In the midst of a constant cost of living crisis, that crap that they served up the entire day, this utter... I've never seen a more Canberra insider story than all this Katie Gallagher, Brittany Higgins, Dave Shiraz, Bruce Learman. Just, do these people actually have any damn idea what people are going through in this country right now?
I think the answer to that is no. Dozens of mourners have gathered on a football field in New South Wales, Hunter Valley, as the community comes to terms with this horrific tragedy. A vigil's been held at the home of the Singleton Roosters. 5 of the 10 people killed in the bus crash in Greta were members. A further 4 had links to the side. A GoFundMe has been set up for the families of the victims. That's raised more than $100,000 thus far.
There's a big role for the AFL to do something significant with this, I think. I mean, these grassroots clubs in New South Wales, they're like the early Christians, these people. They've been out there in very small numbers, keeping the faith for decades in Sydney. Think about clubs like the Ainsley Football Club in Canberra, that's actually now become quite big. But the people who started them off, they were just out there on their own, being treated with disdain by rugby league-loving locals. Yeah. New aerial ping-pong. But extremely sad.
Economists fear up to 200,000 Aussies could lose their jobs over the next 18 months, with the RBA's narrow path for the economy continuing to add strain on households and businesses. NAB Chief Economist Alan Oster says he believes the interest rate will reach 4.6% by the end of winter.
What is it now, 4.1?
4.1. Well, that's a whole...
So that's 2 more hikes.
They're a whole bunch of cheery numbers, aren't they?
Yeah.
200,000 jobs and... excellent.
Paralyzed.
Beautiful. The next headline after that one's recession, so, fantastic.
You got any light and brights there, Will?
I'm looking down. Absolutely not. It's all horrible stuff. For example...
can I just intervene? Did anybody go to the Michael Bublé concert last
there's
night?
a nice antidote
If so,
to
would like to
the
hear from
ills
you.
of the world.
Yeah. Cheer us up with a Michael Bublé review later on.
8223 or Dutton's text line. This story is truly horrifying. I just heard at 5AA News, it's 6 o'clock. An Australian woman has died while walking in Peru after she was attacked by more than 100 bees.
What?
This would be my worst fear, I think. The 78-year-old was walking her blind dog when the insects ambushed her, leaving her with 100 stings on her face alone.
That's horrible.
Oh, isn't it?
100 bees.
I told you the news headlines didn't get any better.
Well, though, coming from that part of the world, I still cannot get over the story about those 4 kids in Colombia who somehow survived. That is the most amazing story.
It's actually quite tragic too. It sounds like their mother was alive for a couple of days.
4 days.
With them. But one of them turned 1 whilst in the jungle for weeks.
The oldest was 17?
No, much younger than that. I think it was 12.
I thought she was older. That's extraordinary. It is the wildest story.
It's a pretty remarkable... the part of the interesting... They were kids indigenous to the area.
Yeah, so they know what they can and cannot eat.
So the one thing they had that separated them from almost anyone else in that situation was they knew which plants were safe and which ones weren't. But they slept in the logs of trees because they're predators. It's the Amazon
stuff.
So they had to hide out because they were prey.
Oh, like the idea of sticking your toe in any of those rivers. I mean, the piranhas are only the start of what you can find in there. Have you ever watched that River Monsters show?
Oh my God,
I love that
show.
But how many really unpleasant creatures are there kicking around in the bottom of the rivers in South America?
It's truly horrifying.
I mean, there's axolotls there that'll eat you for fun, or salamanders.
Yeah, some of that stuff is...
axolotls are only found in Mexico.
Some of that stuff is no good. I'm just trying to double check the age of...
You sure axolotl questions for a Mexican walking fish?
13 was the oldest. 13, 9, 4... and 11 months old.
How do you keep an 11-month-old alive in the jungle? I suppose people have been doing it in a tribal fashion for millennia, but, speaking as a white suburban folk person who, like all of us folks, the idea of like 11 months, you got your little blue book with all your vaccinations in it, you take the child into CAFs. Different approach in the middle of the Amazon.
I don't think they've got a local CAFs there.
That's right.
They may have missed that appointment. 11.3 degrees outside of the city at the moment, heading for a top of 16 today and potentially up to 3 mils of rain. Thursday will be 17 and up to 3 again. Friday, sunny and 19. That'll be the clear one. And then on the weekend, we've got potentially a fair whack of rain coming. 17 the expected top on Saturday with up to 8 mils. If it doesn't come on Saturday, it will on Sunday. 15 the expected top with up to 15 mils, and then Monday, whatever residuals left over from those 2 days, up to 7 mils of rain, top of just 14. It's starting to get chilly.
Yeah.
Top of 15 on Tuesday as well.
I know it's just started, but I'm kind of over winter.
Yeah. This is the cycle of complaining, which a lot of people complain about, ironically, but I think it's part of the human condition.
You can. I increasingly feel like I'm at that age where, I know it's July because I start doing random searches on realestate.com for apartments in Cairns.
Oh, that's deeply concerning.
I mean, I'm not going to do it, but
no, but this is how it starts.
There's things you do. How good would it be? You're up there, go to that market, buy the tropical fruit.
It starts as a daydream, and then in about 15 years, you're living in Caloundra.
Big shout out. Oh, Caloundra. Jeez, I don't know. They need to turn your back on civilisation. You've been there?
Yes, I have. Tom Red's in the 5AA Breakfast Studio. It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino, Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. For those waking up this morning wondering what happened at the AFL Tribunal, James Sicily, 3 weeks. Big ban for that tackle. It just shows how far the game's shifted for that tackle on Hugh McCluggage. So that's huge for them, and they look like they're making some big ground. Ryan Mansell got 3 weeks. I don't think that's surprising for that bump on James Aish, and Dan Butler got off for his one game.
3 weeks for tackling someone these days.
It's big, isn't it?
But what happened to McCluggage? He was concussed.
He was concussed pretty badly.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was ugly too. That was more the way his neck got caught, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, it was 2 years ago. We were saying, it's just an unfortunate football incident. Whereas now,
well, they tended to get a week.
Yep.
Sort of the AFL's way of saying we don't condone anything. Where now it almost gets treated like a really malicious act used to be.
Yep.
Like 3 weeks was you went out of your way to try and hurt someone. You're getting 3 weeks now for poorly executing something that's totally legal within the game.
I still think exactly right.
Well, yeah, but 3 weeks used to be what Barry Hall would get for punching someone.
I still think Shane McAdam got harshly dealt with when he got his 3 weeks.
Yeah, totally
at the start
agree.
of the season.
Totally, so does he.
Yeah. Will, I know you're all over this yesterday and across the series, but the Denver Nuggets yesterday, first time in 47 years, this is how they wrapped up their series win against the Miami Heat.
Off the mark, Brown the rebound, back to Larry, there it is, three-pointer, won't go, rebound, Caldwell Pope, it's over, at last the long wait is over, after 47 years, the Denver Nuggets can finally call themselves NBA champions.
Yeah, great call there on ESPN. Nikola Jokic averaged 30 points in the playoffs, he averaged 14 rebounds, and 10 assists. He led every category, which is the first time anyone's done that. I think we'll look back, probably not at the moment, or maybe people are starting to, but I think in 10, 20, 30 years, we'll look back and say, that guy, during that time, was just a beast. Dominant.
He's a two-time MVP. The only reason he doesn't get talked about is because he's this big Serbian bloke who has no interest in the glitz and glamour of being an NBA player, so he doesn't really resonate with the American public, basketball-loving public generally. Because otherwise his resume would suggest he's one of the greatest already. He's 28 years old.
Probably in the top 10 or 15 players of all time, I reckon, Will.
Well, 2 MVPs. He's led a team to a championship, a small market team too that had never won one before. That's no mean feat. And there's plenty more to do. Statistically, he absolutely ran. He's in that sort of realm. But I just love him as a character. He doesn't care about individual awards. He doesn't care about getting a shoe deal. He doesn't want to release a rap album. He wants to go home to his farm in Serbia.
And look after his horses.
And be left alone.
Raise horses. And
I love him.
He's so good. He's so understated.
In a league that's totally overstated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no,
it's great.
He's superb.
So, yeah, good win. I was delighted for him, actually.
Yeah, me too.
They've got some good athletes at the moment. Djokovic.
That part of the world is
unbelievable.
Well, I mean, you look at Luka Doncic in the NBA as well, probably the best young player in the league. They're well serviced.
Yeah.
Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys. Good stuff.
New segment we call Serbian Sports Hour.
Well, hey, we should be clear. Some of those aren't Serbians.
We don't want to make
that mistake. Slovenian?
Slovenian, Luka Doncic is. But we're sort of former Yugoslav.
Very carefully tiptoe around
republics. Yes, let's be very clear about that. Thank you, Rennie.
Thanks,
it's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino, Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here comes life. Prepare for it with Bupa, CanStar's outstanding value health insurance for 2022. Search Bupa to make the switch today. Bupa, because life happens.
To book a business function, you can call one side of the city to the other side for the best deals, or simply make one call. Jarmer's Kitchen really means business for your business. Full AV facilities, tech for today's virtual meetings, and packages for small groups through to teams of 200, including the new upstairs dining and function areas. Don't get the runaround. Make Jarmer's Kitchen your only call. Fancy made easy. Jarmer's Kitchen, Bowden.
Steinborner Automotive in Gawler, Barossa and Clare has always been well worth the trip, especially with their end of financial year sale on all new, used and demo cars. There's over 120 commercials in stock of all makes and models, with the balance of factory warranty on selected models ready for delivery. Plus, they're offering an additional $1,500 trade-in bonus on all trade-ins. Head to one of Steinborner's 8 locations or visit steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
G'day, it's Jason Hodges here. As a landscaper, I know a bit about lawn. Which ones grow best, stay green all year round, and which one's best for backyard cricket. That's why I love the lawn at the Turf Farm. The Turf Farm treat their lawn like family, and they're grown for South Australian conditions. Plus, they offer the famous Lawn Solutions Australia 10-year warranty. So create your happy place with the leader in instant lawn, theturffarm.com.au.
Have it all with Holland America Line and Phil Hoffman Travel. Cruise the wonders of the world through Australia and New Zealand, Japan, Europe and Alaska. Book on select 2024 and 2025 tours now with the Have It All early booking bonus. Experience the very best of cruising with up to 65% off high-value amenities, including specialty dining, shore excursion credit, elite beverage packages and premium Wi-Fi. T's and C's apply. Contact Phil Hoffman Travel or visit pht.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two and 16 with the 6:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red koala.
A truck has jackknifed on the freeway at Stirling. There are no serious injuries, but the truck is stuck on the concrete barrier in the middle of the freeway. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says it's causing major traffic delays.
At the moment, the up track is closed to all traffic, and it will be probably for the next hour. But the down track, they're hoping to open all the lanes shortly, but it's going to be at very restricted speeds.
Dozens of people have gathered in the New South Wales Hunter Valley to pay tribute to the 10 people killed in a horror bus crash. A vigil was held at the clubhouse of the Singleton Roosters, where 5 of the victims were members. There were also prayers at the Singleton Baptist Church. A fundraiser for the families of the victims has received more than $100,000 so far. Police are investigating a fatal stabbing attack in the UK. Europe correspondent Karianne Greenbank says they haven't ruled out terrorism.
The horror began at 4 this morning when 2 19-year-old university students were stabbed to death on a main road in Nottingham city centre. A witness describes hearing blood-curdling screams and cries for help. A third person was then found dead on a street nearby. That was a man in his 50s, also stabbed to death. Police now believe the suspect stole his victim's van and used it to plough into 3 more people, injuring all of them and leaving one man in a critical condition. A 31-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder.
Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty in a Miami court to federal charges alleging he took classified documents from the White House. A 37-charge indictment of the former US president includes allegations he held on to potential war plans and showed a confidential map to people without the authorization to see it. US Attorney Ben Chu says the papers are essential to national security.
Unlike the case of former Vice President Pence and current President Biden, these documents were not returned to the U.S. government when they were requested, which distinguishes this indictment from those other 2 cases that have not been indicted.
The federal government's accusing opponents of the voice to Parliament of importing Trump-style politics. The Indigenous Affairs Minister argues disinformation's being spread online by no campaigners and some claims are not true. Addressing a major conference in Canberra, Linda Burney says the aim is to polarise voters.
And its weapon of choice is misinformation. No campaign outfit, Fair Australia, regularly post things on social media that are clearly false and taken out of context.
And a new Beatles recording will be released later this year, created using artificial intelligence. Sir Paul McCartney says he's used the technology to extricate the voice of John Lennon from an old demo, completing a decades-old recording. He didn't name the song, but it's widely expected to be a 1978 composition called Now and Then. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. A busy night at the AFL Tribunal with Hawthorn captain James Sicily copping a 3-week suspension for a tackle on Brisbane's Hugh McCluggage. Richmond's Ryan Mansell also copping a 3-game ban for a bump on Fremantle's James Aish, while St Kilda's Dan Butler successfully overturned a 1-match suspension for his tackle on Sydney's Nick Blakey. Meantime, Port Adelaide's players are set to train at Adelaide Oval this morning as they prepare for tomorrow night's blockbuster clash against Geelong at Adelaide Oval. The Power will have to make at least one change with Lockie Jones out with a fractured jaw. Meantime, Richmond's Marlon Pickett won't play this weekend but is still training with the club despite being arrested in Perth over a string of burglaries. Australian golfer Cam Smith remains in the dark about the future of the LIV Golf Tour. The Saudi Public Investment Fund has announced a merger with the PGA Tour from next season, but it's unclear what that will look like. Smith says the playing group hasn't been told what the future holds.
I really know as much as you guys know, to be honest. I haven't been told much at all. I'm just taking it as it goes along, and I guess if anything comes up, I'll let you guys know.
Ariane Titmus has fallen 2 seconds short of reclaiming her 400-metre freestyle world record, but comfortably still secured a spot on the Australian team for next month's World Championships in Japan. Sam Short won the men's 400-metre free at the trials in Melbourne last night. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the weather, and a shower or two, a high of 16 today, a shower or two tomorrow, 17, sunny on Friday, 19, and then showers developing on Saturday, 17. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
The Cherry Motor 5. State-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
24 to 7. We'll get to some Dutton's texts in a moment. See you at the brand new Dutton's Mitsubishi Hyundai and Ram showrooms in Murray Bridge. Now open. We also are on the lookout for someone who went to the Buble concert last night. We want an uplifting review.
We just haven't met them yet.
Sorry. Very good.
I'll leave the studio and come back in. I should apologise to the entire state for that pun.
Nah, it's all right. Or isn't it longing for the idea of someone as opposed to the physical person?
Hope he wasn't in a relationship when he wrote it.
You seem deeply troubled by Buble lyrics.
Well, I don't know that many, if I'm honest.
The other thing,
he's good, but he's no Sleaford Mods.
No, nothing troubling about those lyrics. The outtrack of the southeastern freeway at Crafers is closed for all traffic after a truck jackknifed this morning near the Stirling on-ramp. City-bound traffic is operating with restricted speeds. There was no serious injuries, but there is going to be serious delays through the area, so keep an eye on that one, and we'll be monitoring it for you. Spoke with Kylie Simpson to start the show. The suggestion is it was about an hour, so hopefully around 7 o'clock things will start returning to normal there. We did note that the news cycle was particularly dire this morning in terms of bad, awful and worse news. So we want a Buble review. And the other thing is this, you can daydream about the Powerball draw that's taking place tomorrow. Biggest this year, $60 million. Ooh. Haven't been any Division 1 winners during the past 4 Powerballs. The expectation from the Powerball people is 1 in 6 Australian adults will enter the draw this week.
$60 million. That's really just, that takes care of everything, doesn't it?
That's job done.
Genuinely do not even need to think about working again.
At any age, really. $60 million if you're a 18-year-old.
If you're
God, that would have ruined my life.
A tradie.
If I'd have gotten $60 million in a lottery at 18, that would have been it.
Remember that guy in England who was like what they call chav, which is like a British term meaning bogan. This chav guy.
Yeah, I remember this story.
And he bought this country estate, and then he bought like Sherman tanks, and he was holding all these Silvio Berlusconi style parties on his property. God rest his soul. And he ended up becoming like this, because he was living in some really nice part of Britain filled with people with cottage gardens, and they'd like to walk around reading Wordsworth poems. And it was like a classic There Goes the Neighbourhood story when this guy... And they all wear Burberry, the chavs. There were pictures of him wearing like Burberry trousers, riding his Sherman tank around his property. So, you know, if you do win that much money, just make some more prudent decisions than that chap did.
Absolutely. 21 minutes to 7. That wouldn't be too difficult, though. He did set a high bar.
I like this one. Me musing before about how nice it would be if we could just disappear to Queensland for 3 months a year. Vernon Marg from Mount Barker writing in on the Dutton's text line saying, "We feel for you, Pembo, waking up in Airlie Beach, high 20s today." No need to rub it in, Vernon Marg.
I don't think Vernon Marg really do feel you, Pembo.
Going to go and get a mango for breakfast? Maybe a mud crab for dinner. Sounds all right, doesn't it?
Painting a pretty picture. 20 minutes to 7. The excellent Dancing with the Stars on Channel 7 starts Sunday, the 18th of June, and it features one of South Australian football's favourite sons, the great Gavin Wanganeen, who joins us on 5AA Breakfast now. Gavin, good morning to you.
G'day, fellas. How you going?
Mate, we're good. This is very exciting. Now, have you ever been much of a dancer? Like when, as a lad growing up in Adelaide, I'm a southerner, so for me it was always sort of Lenny's Tavern, McMahon's. Did you ever sort of go to dance spot?
Oh, look, mate. No, I'm not much of a dancer. I often say to people the only dancing I did was on the footy field with footy boots on. So they were my dancing shoes. So this is going to be a bit of a laugh, this one. But yeah.
You'll be all right, though, won't you? Because I imagine being coordinated and having some natural athleticism stands you in good stead for dancing.
I imagine being coordinated.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know, but I'm guessing, Gavin, that helps you out on something like this.
No, it doesn't put you in good stead at all. So there are a lot of different components. I actually, look, it's often gone through my mind the fact that am I getting my ability mixed up with my ambition? So it was a little bit terrifying on the first few days to try and just learn some basic dance moves. And look, no, the athleticism, people say, no, you'll be right, you're athletic. Look, this is mental and it's physical. But when you're trying to put your steps to every beat of the music, that is not an easy thing to do. So that was quite challenging. So, look, a lot of my friends said you're brave for doing it. And, look, most of us probably can't dance. But, hey, look, I'm having a red-hot go. And it's been a, enjoyable experience, let me say.
Do they give you much support, or do you sort of get the sense sometimes that they, because TV, they're always after a bit of theatre. Do you feel like they sort of set you up to fail a bit sometimes?
Look, no, the support was actually pretty good. It was there. I mean, it was. They knew from the get-go, and I said, look, I've never danced before, guys. I actually was a bit worried about doing it. And initially I said, no, I don't think I could do it. I don't want to do it, actually. They said, have a think about it, because we want people like you to be exposed and vulnerable, because that's what the show is all about as well. You can't just have every single celeb going on there being a perfect dancer. That'll just be a dance competition,
Yeah.
So you want to see the good old Aussie battler having a crack. So that was probably me.
Can you compare it nerves-wise to anything in your football career? I don't know what game you would have been most nervous for. Maybe it was a grand final, maybe it's your first game. Does it compare at all to the idea of dancing in front of millions of people for the first time?
You've hit the nail on the head there. You've nailed the most important, interesting question of all time, because on my first dance, or actually in all the dances, I was so nervous. I mean, you get but that first dance, I was absolutely just, I don't know, my heart was beating through my chest, literally. And I'm thinking, what the hell am I doing here? Mate, this is, put me in front of 100,000 people at the MCG in front of a grand final, and those nerves are like water off a duck's back compared to this. So I was sweating, I was worried about, what if all these things are going through my mind, what if I just freeze and I can't do the rest of the dance? I'm thinking that would be a disaster. So all these things are going from my mind. Yes, as you can tell, I was pretty nervous.
Hey, Gavin, dancing aside, you must be pretty excited about the trajectory that your old club is on right now. They're looking pretty irresistible, Port, aren't they?
They are. It was. I didn't see that coming. I mean, I knew their list dynamic and their games played were at the age where you expect them to be, pretty hardened as a football team. So, in a way, I'm surprised, but then again, I'm not, because they have, in a way, they've been sort of hardened over, the last 4 or 5 years. They've been around the mark, and they know they've got the talent, and they've had some close losses and missed out on, grand finals appearances and so on. So, yeah, but to win 10 in a row, that's pretty special, isn't it? So they're in a pretty good spot, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're looking, doing remarkable things at the moment, like I'm sure we'll see you do on Dancing with the Stars. Gavin, thank you so much for joining us, mate. Appreciate it.
Thanks, fellas. Have a good one.
Gavin Wanganeen. Dancing with the Stars starts Sunday the 18th of June, so what's that, this Sunday night on Channel 7.
When are you going to get a spot in it, Will? You're part of the Channel 7 family.
Time to check traffic. Strike you down for even suggesting such a thing.
It's got to happen one day.
No, it won't. I'm not a good
Between
sport.
That's even more exciting to me than the magazine format program Will Gooding South Australia.
Can you just imagine two things that I'm more ill-fitting to produce?
Oh, it'd be excellent television.
You
Can you dance? Do you know how?
No, I'm terrible.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I hate it.
absolutely shocking.
Shocking.
I can do a cheap waltz, so that's about it.
Actually, I can do the MC Hammer dance.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah,
do you wear the
I can do
pants?
that. Yeah, I've got them at home.
Of course you do.
I do, yeah.
All right, let's check.
Actually do.
Let's check traffic.
Thanks, Will, and good morning. At Crayford's major crash involving a B-double on the freeway near the Stirling ramp. The outbound lane of the freeway is currently closed to all traffic. Try Greenhill Road for smaller vehicles heading outbound, while inbound is open with delays and speeds reduced. Really, avoid it if you can. In the city, traffic lights flashing yellow, Grenfell Street at White Streets with cameras this morning, Grenfell Road, Surrey Downs, and Hancock Road at Tea Tree Gully. It's SUV season at Mercedes-Benz with great savings on select new and demonstrator models. Visit Mercedes-Benz Adelaide and Unley while stocks last. Ends June 30. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
It isn't waste until you waste it. That's the catch cry from an amazing company called Eco Waste Solutions. Eco Waste Solutions is a hard waste recycling facility, not a dump, located at Williston. They'll take everything except hazardous waste and food scraps. They'll take your waste bricks, your mattresses, tyres, soil, timber, steel, concrete and more. Plus, if you pre-sort your load, you'll receive a 50% discount on disposal fees. Google Eco Waste Solutions Williston for more.
It's tax time at Bunnings Trade. Pick up an amazing deal on the Pasload Frame and Trim Master Kit with carry case, 2 batteries and charger for $1,498. Or an AEG jet blower kit with 6 amp battery and charger just $299. Don't miss tax time at Bunnings Trade.
We all know that ASIC Couriers are a great SA family business. The whole family's involved. They support local communities, the whole lot, but they're also a business doing great things for your business.
That's right, Will. ASIC Couriers pride themselves on being able to deliver for your business in a safe and timely manner. Their drivers undergo intensive training and the ASIC compliance team regularly audit its fleet.
And with all the technology they use, things like satellite navigation, real-time GPS, it allows the ASIC Couriers team to collect your job quickly, travel on the most efficient route and make deliveries on time.
It's amazing how all their technology works. It's all in real time too, so that means you can see where it is and how far away it is. So whatever your business needs delivered, don't risk it, ace it.
SEW Eurodrive is a world-leading developer and supplier of mechanical power transmission systems, motor control electronics, plus engineered solutions backed by industry-leading quality service and delivery. Our locally assembled range of industrial motors, gear units and controllers are recognised as the benchmark in applications for the Australian industry. Whether it's mining, logistics or food and beverage, visit sew-eurodrive.com.au. Driving Australian industry since 1982.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Save even more on a low mileage demo Cherry Emotor 5 now at Cherry Glen Osmond. Go Cherry.
11 minutes to 7, we're off to Miami after 7 o'clock this morning for the latest on the Trump indictment. He pleaded not guilty to all charges. There was a motorcade, there was protesters, all sorts going on. We'll put you in the picture in about 25 minutes' time. First, though, let's head to the Bureau. Hannah Marsh, senior forecaster on duty, joins us. Hannah, what kind of day do we have on this Wednesday here in Adelaide?
Well, there's still some light echoes showing on the Weather Watch radar about the ranges at the moment, but not expecting much in the way of rainfall for the morning period at least. We'll start seeing some showers increasing during the afternoon ahead of a front that we're expecting to come through overnight. We've had a minimum of 9.4 degrees. We're currently sitting on 10.5 degrees, heading for a maximum around 16 degrees for today. Then tomorrow we've got that shower or two lingering around, mainly during the morning, and heading for a maximum of 17, then a sunny 19 degrees for Friday.
Good stuff there. Thank you for that, Hannah.
All right, let's head to SAPOL. Kylie Simpson joins us. Kylie, we spoke to you about 40 minutes ago about the freeway crash that's closed for people returning home overnight. What's the situation there at the moment?
Yeah, so it's still pretty similar situation. So the crash happened about 2:20 this morning. Police responded to reports of a truck crashing onto the concrete barrier on the out track of the southeastern freeway, and thankfully the driver wasn't injured. But the freeway still is closed for outbound traffic, and I guess important things are heavy vehicles are being stopped at the bottom of the freeway. So all around that area, Tollgate, that Glen Osmond, will be quite hectic this morning. So we just want people to make sure that they drive to conditions, just have heaps of patience because there's nothing we can do about it, but we just want people to take care, I guess. City-bound traffic at the moment is operating with restricted speed, but we can already see there's some residual delays from earlier on it being closed. So, yeah, just really important that people, you want to get to work, get to work rather than crash getting there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely it does. Kylie, also, there's been some arrests after a pursuit in the northern suburbs.
That's right. This was about 1:45 this morning. Police spotted a blue Ford sedan on Fern Court at Parafield Gardens. When the driver spotted police, they turned off the headlights and drove off. So police pursued the vehicle for a short distance before spiking all four tyres at the intersection of Burton Road and Bolivar Road, and the car came to a stop nearby in Janine Drive. So two men ran from the car, but they were arrested a short distance away after a foot pursuit. The vehicle had been stolen sometime overnight from Seaton. So a 25-year-old man, the alleged driver, and 18-year-old were both charged with illegal use. The driver was also charged with driving dangerously to escape police pursuit and driving disqualified. He's been refused police bail and will appear in court today, and the passenger's been bailed to appear in court at a later date.
Good work there, Kylie. Kylie Simpson, Senior Constable from SAPOL. Thanks for that. And look, if anybody is stuck on the freeway right now, as we were saying before, it's more an issue for people heading home to the hills after working overnight than coming into town today for work or for social catch-ups, but it's still a big inconvenience, so give us a call, 8223 0000.
Getting a few Duttons texts through at the moment as well.
I like this one. Mick says, "G'day lads, you have an ex-president who stole documents and a sitting president who, according to the FBI, stole $5 million. What hope does the honest American have when both parties are as tainted as they are? And Pembo maybe redirect the family trip to Vancouver." Well, we're only in Dulles for 2 days, so we don't even need to leave the hotel before we head down to the safety of Mexico City.
Bastion of personal safety that is Mexico.
What could possibly go wrong? Sue and Christie's Beach has worked out the AFL match review panel formula in the HQ. Person 1, Shane McAdams' tackle was clumsy, but I don't think it was intentionally rough. Person 2, well, he does play for Adelaide. Person 1, well, give him 3 weeks. Thank you for that, Sue. And quite a lot from people who use the roads about this truck out of control this morning on the southeastern freeway. Peter in Brooklyn Park says, Daryl from Mount Barker, who called before, Daryl is spot on. Your traditional truckie doesn't exist. Now you have a lot of truckies that come in from overseas that can't drive. Ask the transport yards who run into these blokes. Thanks for that, Peter.
Lots of texts from pretty agitated and upset Hills commuters. If that's you, we'd love to hear from you. 8223 0000. You can also participate in the program by leaving your comments on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream as well. Andrew in Mount Barker's called in. Morning to you, Andrew.
Good morning. I'm heading home.
Oh, mate.
So, I've had to detour, and instead of going down through the freeway, I had to go back down South Road by Goodwood Road and heading up towards Happy Valley, Clarendon, Kangaroo from Brighton. So adds a bit more of a distance, and
So you've been
working at home till about.
You've been working overnight, Andrew?
Yeah, I did I started at 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, did sleep over. I'm a support worker, so didn't see it till I turned on the radio this morning. I was driving back, that was shut. So,
How often do you think living at Mount Barker, Andrew, that you have to deal with some sort of calamity that's going on the freeway?
It's always in the back of my mind, and my wife always says, "You don't need to take the freeway." I was like, "Well, I do to get to Brighton, it's the quickest way." because I could either go through Crapers, that's not an option. It's just always at the back of your mind, and because I do overnight, usually it's okay in the morning, but today obviously it's not.
How many nights a week would you sleep at someone else's place, Andrew, providing support for them?
4 nights in a row. So it's 4
nights in a row, not in your own bed?
Not my own bed, that's right. So I'll average between 4 to 6 hours sleep. I slept 6 hours last night, and there's always noise around. There's clients around, other clients that don't make a lot of racket. And you always have to be on guard, and we do get paid like half the base rate to sleep, which makes it worth it. But when NDIS only funds a certain amount.
You know what? It's incredibly important work you guys do, Andrew, and we are as a community very thankful for it. You drive home safely. Well, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give you a $100 Barbecue Adelaide Weber Store voucher. Thank you for calling in your thoughts on the freeway, but also for the wonderful work you do, Andrew. You people you're just so incredibly important.
Absolutely.
Totally underappreciated. 8223 is our number, or you can text us as well on that excellent Dutton's text line. See you at the brand new Dutton's Mitsubishi, Hyundai and Ram showrooms in Murray Bridge now open.
Simon of Oakbank asks on the Dutton's text line about the way this is being managed. He says the crash was a little delayed, but why the hell is one lane of the tunnel still closed at 7 a.m? That was a greater delay this morning and for no apparent reason. Thank you for that, Simon.
Keep them coming in. We're off to Miami shortly for the latest on the Trump indictment. Then also next hour, stay listening, Port fans. Bit of an extravaganza for you this morning. We've had Gavin Wanganeen on shortly talking about dancing. Horatio did a bit of dancing on the weekend. Our man, he kicked a couple of goals. He kicked 4. He kicked 4 for Port in the Sandful. Does it earn him a recall? I bet it felt good out there playing well. He'll be joining us after 7:30. We'll go around the courts with Sean Fuster as well. And then a little bit later, for the first time since he left the Sunrise Couch, the host of Channel 7's, well, formerly the host of Channel 7's Sunrise program, David Koch, will be on the show after 8:30 today, having had a sleep-in, so it might be a totally different Kochie-related experience.
Very Port show today, isn't it? We've had G. Wanganeen, O. Fantasia, D. Koch. I thought it was meant to be Crow AA.
Yeah, I know. We're going to speak to management.
Yeah, exactly.
Standards are slipping. I'm not sure what's happened.
Sam Dado didn't want you going, about time. They're never happy.
It's Sam Dado.
Never happy, Port supporters. You have 3 superstars of the Port Adelaide culture and club on the show, and you're still copping it. Still getting complaints from Sam. It's amazing, isn't it?
5AA News is coming up. We'll take you through a wrap of the big stories overnight shortly, including the latest little tidbit of information that the state government have released to the Tiser regarding the state budget that will be released in full tomorrow. And also, Paul McCartney has suggested that artificial intelligence might be involved in the releasing of a new Beatles track. A new Beatles track.
I find this alarming and unnerving.
How AI is going to help? We'll hear from Paul McCartney next.
Southgate GWM is overstocked and all vehicles must be cleared. All models, all colours, priced to clear. Make an offer. Don't buy anything until you speak to Southgate GWM. Just 25 minutes from the CBD. Only at Southgate GWM. LVD 152780.
Australia is having a conversation about the referendum being held later this year.
So what's it about?
It's about whether we should change the Constitution to recognise the First Peoples of Australia by setting up an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice.
The voice will be a permanent body.
And it'd give independent advice to the Parliament and Government on matters that affect First Nations people.
Be ready for the conversation.
Visit voice.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
It's time to raise the bar. If you're organising an event, anything from a small meeting to a grand gala, you'll know there are many things to consider. So trust the experts at Adelaide Convention Centre to help you elevate your vision. With the support from our team at every stage, you'll be amazed at what can happen in turning each aspect into an unforgettable experience for both you and your guests. Contact our team and discover the magic to elevate your vision at Adelaide Convention Centre.
Did you know home care packages are available to residents aged 65 plus in Adelaide?
Genu are experts with over 30 years' experience, partnering with local providers, helping you get the best value from your home care package and enabling you to maintain independence in your own home. To find out more about Genu's home care packages today or how to transfer your existing package, call 1300 558 368 or visit genu.org.au. Genu, supporting you your way.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two and 16 with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Complete windscreen supply and fit, front, rear and door glass. Proudly South Australian since 1976.
A truck has jackknifed on the uptrack of the freeway at Stirling, causing traffic chaos. It's stuck on the concrete barrier in the middle of the freeway. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says luckily the driver wasn't injured.
It happened about 2:20 this morning, so at this stage it's too early for us to speculate how it happened, but if you can avoid that way home or that way, definitely avoid it.
Heavy vehicles are being stopped at the bottom of the freeway and city-bound lanes are open but at a reduced speed. Police will interview more survivors of the Hunter Valley bus crash as they build a case against the driver. More from Clinton Maynard.
At least 10 of the survivors of the tragedy have spoken to police. They've told investigators there was a prolonged period of unsafe driving. It's alleged Brett Button told them to fasten their seatbelts. As more are released from hospital, police will conduct further interviews. They're also continuing to examine the wreckage of the bus, but they don't believe it had any mechanical issues. Button has spent the night with family in Maitland after he was released on bail.
Former US President Donald Trump has faced a federal court in Miami pleading not guilty to 37 charges. Thousands of his supporters gathered outside and waved as his motorcade left. These protesters have expressed their views about his indictment.
It's basically a life sentence.
At some point, people have to see what's going on. I've never seen one person persecuted as much as he has been persecuted. There are so many other bigger events going on around the world and in our country right now that should be getting our attention.
3 people have been stabbed to death and 3 others have been run over by a car during a rampage in England. Police say a man stabbed 2 uni students to death in the street in Nottingham before knifing another man, stealing his car and running down pedestrians. A 31-year-old man's in custody. Officers believe he acted alone. The state budget will be handed down tomorrow and it'll be in the red. Treasurer Stephen Mulligan will deliver a net operating deficit of $249 million. Last June, he was talking a $233 million surplus. But he says the government's made extra money available for health and the Riverland flood recovery.
We were faced with a simple choice. We either try and stick it out to deliver a surplus or we put money where it's needed into both health and flood recovery. We've chosen what we think is the right decision, and that's supporting the community through difficult times in the Riverland and also making sure that people can get the treatment they need in our health system.
An urgent search is underway for a baby girl taken from Ipswich Hospital. More from Matt Hepworth.
Police issued an Amber Alert around 5:30 yesterday afternoon after a 1-day-old baby girl was taken from Ipswich Hospital. 2 women were seen taking the baby and putting her into a white Suzuki Liana. That car has since been located. However, the search continues for the baby and 18-year-old Chloe Bornan. Officers say the baby may be at significant risk.
Canadian crooner Michael Bublé performed at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre last night as part of his national tour. He had to postpone the tour, originally planned for December due to logistics issues. He'll perform again tonight. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide defender Aliyah admits it's exciting to see the progress the side has made this season. The Power have won 10 straight and can extend that to 11 with a win over the reigning premiers Geelong tomorrow night. Their run of form has many predicting a premiership tilt is possible, and defender Aliyah told Rowie and Timmy G that is the ultimate goal.
We know we're still a long way, but if we can keep tracking and keep getting wins, then we'll get close to it. But
that's the reason we play football. We want to win the premiership. So yeah, of course, we're gonna dare and dream to do it.
Port will have to make at least one change for tomorrow night's match against the Cats, with Lockie Jones out with a fractured jaw. Meantime, James Sicily has been suspended for 3 weeks for a tackle that left Brisbane midfielder Hugh McCluggage concussed. Well, Australian quick Scott Boland is pushing to retain his place over Josh Hazlewood as preparations ramp up for this week's first Ashes Test. South Aussie Travis Head has told the Today Show Boland made his mark after starring in their World Test Championship final victory.
I think he's Australians' favourite cricketer at the minute, old Baz. The spots are high at the moment. It's a very strong squad that we've got over here. We've got full training tomorrow, full squad training, and yeah, I'm going to have to be aware of what net I go in tomorrow because I think the big boys are going to be fired up.
And Aussie Nick Kyrgios has made a shaky return to the tennis court after recovering from a knee injury, going down in straight sets in the opening round of the Stuttgart Open to Wu Yubing. Better news, though, for fellow Aussie Chris O'Connell, who beat German Daniel Altmaier in straight sets, while Alexei Popyrin also won his first-round match at the Dutch Open, beating Frenchman Arthur Rinderknecht, while there were mixed results on the women's side, with Kim Birrell having a win, but Priscilla Hon was beaten. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the 5AA Traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
Good morning. She's a Real Dogs breakfast at Crayford this morning. Major crash involving a B-double on the freeway near the Stirling ramp. The outbound out of the freeway is currently closed to all traffic. Try Green Hill Road for smaller vehicles heading outbound, while inbound is open with delays and speeds reduced. In the city, traffic lights flashing yellow, Grenfell Street at Wyatt Street with early morning coverage, Jetty Road, Largs Bay, and Main North Road at Elizabeth Downs. The Guzmani Gomez Cali Burrito with its Chipotle seasoned fries, choice of filling, fresh pico de gallo, guac, sour cream and more. It's legendary, only at GYG. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
To the weather, a shower or two, 16 today, a shower or two tomorrow, 17, sunny on Friday, 19, and showers developing again on Saturday, 17. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Actually, I can do the MC Hammer dance.
Can't touch this. Breakfast on 5AA.
Go from 7 till 10.
There's requests coming in on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream to see the MC Hammer dance, but maybe we'll save that for a special occasion.
No, I'm not doing that. I haven't done it for about 6 years.
It's not that long a time.
I'm not match fit.
So since we've been doing the show,
me.
Since we've been doing the show together, you've done the MC Hammer dance somewhere for someone.
I did it at a mate's 40th.
Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. It was a.
Where do you keep the pants?
I'll tell you where you get them. You get them at Costume Land at near Castle Plaza. You get all sorts of stuff there.
What if our listeners have any party tricks?
I'll do it for your 40th, mate. When is your 40th?
In about a month.
Whatever it will. Like, I think one of the reasons you deliberately sort of, took this job was that you realised that your birthday is always going to be during the holidays.
Yeah, I'm a low-key guy.
July break.
I don't do fanfare. If you've got a party trick you're whipping out for special occasions...
Our first show back in August, we should do Will's 40th, a look back.
No, we shouldn't. We won't be part of that day. I'll be calling in sick. 822 300 text us on the Dutton's text line, 0480 1395.
You can't go down the Southern Expressway without bumping into your head every 300 metres at the moment, and you claim you're a private person.
That's why I don't leave my house. It's terrifying. All right, let's talk about the news, shall we? Is that all right? Can we move on now?
Right, okay.
You've had your fun.
I've had my fun.
Okay. Some good reporting in the Tisey this morning with regard to the release of the state budget in full tomorrow. Some of the headline figures have been released. So the forecast this time a year ago was for a $233 million surplus. Instead now, that will be an operating deficit of $249 million. So it's
a $500 million turnaround.
A $500 million turnaround. The Treasurer provided some commentary to the paper. He said that the deficit now is because of spending pressures, including an extra $470 million to be spent on extra demand on emergency departments that were triggered by GP shortages, unexpectedly high continuing admissions of COVID patients. He said there are other spending pressures too, $42 million for child protection, $104 million for flood support, and a $95 million hit to GST funding.
See, the thing that troubles me with all this is, so it's the value of the hand-on-heart promise in the budget speech. It makes you sort of cynical about what's going to happen next year. Because if we were told last year that, we're through the worst of it, now it sounds like we're not really through the worst of it.
Budgets are like footy tips 4 weeks out, where you could say to me, who's going to win between Port and, I don't know, Hawthorn. And I say...
And then Hawthorn win the next 3 games.
And Port get 6 injuries.
Yeah.
And we get to the eve of that game and you say, hang on, you told me you were tipping Port. Well, some things have changed in between. It's just... It goes to what kind of stock we should put in these kind of budget predictions. That said, they're the best predictions we've got. I think it's an interesting contrast maybe developing. And we won't know the full scale of this until we get the full documents tomorrow. But I know overnight the Queensland budget, full of cost of living relief, power bill relief. We know what the Victorian budget looked like. I wonder how the South Australian budget's going to stack up in a sort of prudent economic management sense.
Well, one of the key differences between the SA budget and the Victorian budget, and this is a credit to our government, is that there's going to be no new taxes and there's going to be no tax increases. That's what we've been promised. And, the extent to which over the road in Victoria, they've shred everything from, private school funding to investment properties at a time when one thing the economy needs more than anything is more housing stock. I think it's going to be a very different and much more conservative approach on that score, which is a big tick. But the extent to which the Treasury is a bottomless pit of cash, and some of these things are unforeseen. I mean, floods, for example. No one's complaining about that. The fact that we spent $100+ million looking after river communities. Well, that is very much the job of government, but. Geez, health. The cost of running the health budget is just off the charts, isn't it? And what for what benefit so far? Well, ramping's worse than it's ever been. They've tipped an extra $500 million into the system.
We've seen subsequent governments have a bob each way in trying to fix health. The government at the moment tipping millions upon millions in for seemingly no immediate benefit. We've seen the former government bring in Court of Menther and try to say, well, hang on, there's fat here to trim and savings need to be made. That didn't seem to send things in the right direction either. It just seems to be this unruly, untamable beast, health, that is a law unto itself.
Yeah, I mean, there's bigger sort of philosophical issues here too, and, they're moral issues. I mean, one is our capacity to keep people alive now for a good decade after they would normally have passed their use-by date. Like, how much does that cost? I mean, every older person will tell you about, they've had different ailments. They'll put me on a new drug that if it wasn't on the PBS, it would have cost me $10,000. Like, no exaggeration. Yeah. But the thing is, someone's paying the $9,700 gap, and that person is called the taxpayer.
We're going to be heading off to the US in a moment to chat live to 7 reporter in Miami about Donald Trump's appearance there in court, where he pleaded not guilty to 37 counts, including obstructing the government's efforts to get classified documents back. Of course, the charge is headlined by him having classified documents in a way that is illegal. It's been quite a circus, the motorcade, the protests and so forth. He just stopped off in a bakery or a cafe a moment ago. Have a listen.
What a great group of people. What a great group. It's a rigged deal here. We have a rigged country. We have a country that's corrupt. We have a country that's got no borders. We have a country that's got nothing but problems. We're a nation in decline. And then they do this stuff. And you see where the people are. We love the people. And you see where they are. You see the crowds and everything else. We have a country that is in decline like never before. And we can't let it happen. I'm going to make a little speech tonight in Bedminster. And I hope you're going to be there.
Imagine being so, passionately in love with a politician that you're prepared to leave your house, follow them around in your own car, to a diner and sing happy birthday to them. I mean, just what a utterly bizarre level of zealotry the guy attracts.
They are Americans, David. He turns 77. I love them, but this is what they do. He turns 77 tomorrow, hence the happy birthday being sung at the start. We don't know what his bakery order is yet. Maybe you've got some suggestions, but...
he's a big burger guy.
He's a burger guy.
Loves burgers.
Do you get a burger at a cafe in America? You probably do.
Oh, yeah,
Silly
totally.
question.
Yeah, you get heaps of burgers. They're great.
We'll talk more about the Trump indictment and the court case in just a moment. Also, from the world of music, this is really intriguing. In an interview with BBC Radio 4's Today program, Paul McCartney was asked about artificial intelligence because it's being used on him a lot, making him sound younger like he used to back in the day, and to bring back John Lennon, get him singing new songs and so forth. And what he revealed is pretty extraordinary. There's a new Beatles song coming, and it's coming out in part thanks to artificial intelligence.
And what do you think about efforts that are being made through technology, through artificial intelligence, to recreate the early Beatles, making your voice sound younger, bringing those voices back, well, from the grave, really?
Mm. Well, it's a very interesting thing, you know. It's something we're all sort of tackling at the moment, you know, and trying to deal with what's it mean, you know. It has great uses. So when we came to make what will be the last Beatles record, it was a demo that John had that we worked on, and we've just finished it up. It'll be released this year. We were able to take John's voice and get it pure through this AI, so that then we could mix the record as you would normally do. You know, so it gives you some sort of leeway. So there's a good side to it, and then a scary side, and we'll just have to see where that leads.
So just to be clear, it's not like what Sunrise did with Koch, where they got AI to create a fake David Koch narrative, where they had samples of Koch's voice, and then said, "All right, now you've got to talk like Koch," and out comes the voice. So this was tidying up existing John Lennon audio from some old recording.
In fact, it was recording, as I understand it, from the Peter Jackson But the Beatles Get Back documentary, where they got one of the demos of these songs that they were working on, and they just needed to tidy it up, and the artificial intelligence was able to say, well, that's John Lennon's voice, that's an imperfection that's come about as a result of the recording, I can get rid of that bit and keep this bit, and so forth. So it was really clever technology. It wasn't the artificial intelligence that says, I've listened to everything John Lennon's ever said, and now I can make him say or sing anything.
Even that's troubling, though, because it's the sort of rough edges in music that make it what it is. You know, like the famous, the snare that's slightly out of time at the start of Like a Rolling Stone, and then the electric piano comes in. The song never quite hooks up, and that's what makes it so utterly brilliant. Well, one of the many things it does. I don't know. We're all going to live in this sort of auto-tune world. Everyone just sounds like Taylor Swift.
Or is it exactly your dream scenario, David, where you never have to listen to any new song ever again? You can just listen to new albums that the Rolling Stones bring out for the next 200 years.
Have you heard the Stones' 1063rd record? It's you wouldn't want to miss that one. It's terrific.
We're going to take a break. We'll check traffic first, and then we're off to Miami for the latest on the Trump indictment that saw him plead not guilty to 37 charges.
Thanks, Will. Crayford's major crash involving a B-double truck on the freeway near the Stirling ramp. The outbound lane of the freeway is currently closed to all traffic. Try Green Hill Road for smaller vehicles heading outbound, while inbound is open with delays and speeds reduced. Lane closed at Hilton this morning, so Donald Bradber Drive near Pearson Street, speeds at 25. And look out for cameras today, Grenfell Road, Surrey Downs, and Hancock Road at Tea Tree Gully. New Selly's 650 FC is fully flexible and fully bonds to most building materials. It doesn't just stick, it's fully stick. If it's Selly's, it works. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
This bus crashed. Police have said he was speeding. Now, I have a bus licence, but I cannot think what this guy was thinking, allegedly telling his passengers in the seconds before, if you think that was fast, watch this.
Weekday mornings from 9.
My father drove buses for his livelihood. I remember his advice was, drive as if your passengers are a load of eggs. In other words, they're fragile.
On 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
What's the best thing about winter?
Definitely the Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer Special. Get super cozy with up to 40% off. That's up to 40% off our entire range of curtains and blinds, including our energy-efficient window coverings. With Bob Burns Blinds, you'll get that quality show home look, and you'll save money on energy bills by trapping the heat in your home. Get set for winter now with the Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer Special. Book your free measure and quote at bobburnsblinds.com.au.
At Anderson Solicitors, putting people first is second nature. No matter who you are or what your problem is, we are committed to helping find the right solution for you every time. With locations across the state, whether you need help with family law, commercial law, wills and estates or personal injury claims, talk to Andersons today. Visit andersons.com.au or phone 8238 6666. Anderson Solicitors. People first in every case.
Now, everybody knows FIVEAA loves talking. We love it. Some might even say too much, David.
Well, that's right. But if you love talking just half as much as we do, why not use it to make a difference? Now, this is a great scheme. TAFE SA, they're looking for volunteer tutors to support migrants and refugees with their English language learning, and that will help them thrive in the South Australian community.
Yeah, this is great. As a tutor in the TAFE Adult Migrant English program, you'll receive free training, you'll develop new skills, and meet students from diverse cultures for 1 to 2 hours a week.
It really is an incredible opportunity to hear someone's stories and help them start their life in SA. So to find out more, visit tafesa.edu.au/VTS. This is a message from the Government of South Australia, RTO code 41026. VTS is funded by the Commonwealth Government's Department of Home Affairs.
Steinborner Automotive in Gawler, Barossa and Clare has always been well worth the trip, especially with their end of financial year sale on all new, used and demo cars. There's over 120 commercials in stock of all makes and models, with the balance of factory warranty on selected models ready for delivery. Plus, they're offering an additional $1,500 trade-in bonus on all trade-ins. Head to one of Steinborner's 8 locations or visit steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Save even more on a low mileage demo Cherry Motor 5 now at Cherry Glen Osmond. Go Cherry.
22 minutes after 7, sport in a moment. Sean Fuster after 7:30. We go round the courts with Sean. Then Raz Fantasia before 8 o'clock. But first, let's head to Miami. Tim Lester for 7 News has been following the Trump motorcade across town into court, where, let's start perhaps, Tim. Trump pleaded not guilty to the charges regarding his storage of classified documents.
Yep, 37 charges, criminal charges. If you added up the maximum jail term for them all, they come to 400. Not that he'll serve 400 years in jail, but they are very serious charges of storing and then basically avoiding or plotting not to return more than 300 intelligence documents. I watched him today for 48 minutes in court. He frowned for pretty much all of it, leant back in his chair, crossed his arms and let his lawyers do the talking. They even entered the plea of not guilty. So in that 48 minutes, Donald Trump did not speak a word in court, or certainly not out loud to be put on the court record. He was given bail conditions or bond conditions that mean that he can't talk about the case, even to a number of his employees who are potential witnesses. So the judge insisting on that, his lawyers protesting that, but the judge insisting no, he's not allowed to discuss the case with them, even if they are his employees, and then leaving to the adulation and roar of supporters outside around his convoy as he pulled away from the court. Donald Trump, the politician on display outside, inside the legal affair, I think in his mind is secondary.
So, Tim, if this is indeed possible anymore in a polarised place like the United States, is it possible to get any sort of independent and impartial sense from anyone in America, and I include the media there, as to whether these charges against him are serious or a bit of a cooked up politicised attempt to drag him down?
I think it's terribly difficult to get a clear, independent view of Donald Trump because so much of the country has very passionate feelings for or against the man. If you're most probably in the Republican Party, certainly has a solid 35% who worship him, and among the rest of the country, of course, fierce opposition to him. In the main, not entirely. So no, I think your point is fair. The charges, frankly, look very serious and thoroughly prepared. But can Joe Biden's administration really claim to be arm's length when, even although they've appointed a special prosecutor, of course, it's their Attorney General that is overseeing the bringing of this case against him. So it is a quite extraordinary situation we're in, and no, I think it's very difficult to be objective in this country about it.
Yeah. I mean, the problem too is that then again, I mean, Trump could actually be caught with 18 bodies in his cellar, and video could emerge of him actually organising war crimes in some theatre of conflict, and his supporters would still say the whole thing was fake.
Well, quite. And I think there's still, in fact, if you had to guess, and that's all it'd be, but if you had to guess, I think as strong as the charges look and as important as classifying intelligence is to Americans and to us, frankly, as important as that is, I think it's less than 50% he'd ever serve jail time for this, because of the consequences of sending the man to jail, given the support for him, the fierceness of that support, is untold. We just don't know where that would go.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great report, Tim. Thank you. Tim Lester in Miami for 7 News. The rap sheet's worth going through just momentarily, just to give you a broad sense, because you might be getting lost with, hang on, which trial are we on now? So we've had the E. Jean Carroll abuse case. This was the classified documents case. There's the New York business case that he's got coming up to, the Georgia stolen election case, and the January 6th, the Stormy Daniels case, and the January 6th Capitol Rights case.
So there's 4.
So the problem that goes
One
to
of the
your
best
point,
jobs in America would be in Donald Trump's legal team.
You're making a lot of money. To your point, that list of charges, one side of politics in America looks at it and says, well, it's clearly a witch hunt, because no other president's been gone after like this by the courts on so many different charges. The other side says that is a pattern of behaviour of a totally reckless and irresponsible human being, that they have been charged in so many theatres, and neither side will give any quarter.
The sad thing is that it's almost in the national interest not to pursue Trump legally or charge him over anything, almost regardless of what he's done, because of the social consequences.
I agree with that. What's the greater good?
Yeah.
The sports show last night. This is something right up your alley, David. I think, in fact, you might need to be called in to judge this. For the perfect meal, head to a Barrow Hotel, the Albion, Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior or Sundowner in Whyalla. Timmy G was bragging that he was a better guitarist than Graham Corns. So they played that audio to Cornsey, and, well, there's going to be a guitar off, potentially.
Now, Stud, before we go... There's something we need to share with you.
Yeah, last week I think the guys were jamming out to one of the songs that came out of an ad break, and then they started talking about how good their guitar ability was. Have a listen to Timmy.
Oh, I think I've been playing since 15. So
would you be better than Stud?
Oh, by a mile.
Seriously? We might have a guitar
no,
off.
I've seen him play.
We might have a guitar off.
And I'll tell you what, better singer.
Oh! We're going to have a riff off. We need a double A riff off.
He is right on both counts.
So we don't even have to have a riff off. So Timmy's better.
Well done, Tim. Congratulations.
Crowned.
Geez, Stud, don't roll over like that.
Just wave the white flag.
I love it.
Well, I'll have a crack.
Yeah, he'll have a dig.
Good.
You don't do a lot of lead, though, do you?
No, that's where you got me.
I do a little bit of lead. So I might have it. But
serious,
he might have me, I reckon.
I'll concede the voice, though.
Yeah.
Well, thank God for that.
I think you might be the judge of that competition.
We got
a guitar off.
Should do as part of the Undy drive.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Raise money. What's the track they're jamming out to see who's the better guitarist?
Well, Cornsey likes a lot of the classics like Johnny Be Good and stuff like that, whereas Tim's more the sort of acoustic,
What about
probably more
Hendrix?
crowded house style. Oh, I might get him to play like Purple Haze or something.
I reckon.
The Star Spangled Banner.
That would sort the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah. I wonder if Cornsey's going to wear his leather pants for the occasion too.
Yeah, it's not all upside, obviously. For the perfect meal, head to a Baroe Hotel, the Albion Birkenhead Tavern Excelsior, or Sundowner in Whyalla.
Warm up cheaper with Cheapest Chips Winter Warmers. Bring on the heat inside or outside with Germanica Carbon Fibre Wall Heater. Only $199. Save $50. Get toasty warm with your friends around the wok-style fire pit. Just $69. And snuggle up on the Dreamcom Queen Size Superior Mattress. Just $299. Save a scorching $100. Check out this week's catalogue for more winter warmers and live cheaper this winter at Cheapest Chips.
You can do just about anything online. Shop, meet new friends, watch reruns of your favourite TV shows or movies. But there's one thing you should never do online, and that's your will. From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers can answer your questions and help carry out your final wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
A shower or two and 16 with the 7:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red koala.
There are traffic problems on the freeway this morning after a truck jackknifed on the uptrack at Stirling. It's stuck on the concrete barrier in the middle of the freeway. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says motorists can expect delays.
Heavy vehicles are being stopped at the bottom of the freeway, so all around that area, Tollgate, that Glen Osmond, will be quite hectic this morning. So we just want people to make sure that they drive to conditions, just have heaps of patience because there's nothing we can do about it, but we just want people to take care.
And the speeds are reduced for traffic heading into the city. Former US President Donald Trump is on his way back to New Jersey after facing arraignment on 37 federal criminal charges. He'll host his first presidential campaign fundraiser at the golf club later this morning, where he's also expected to address the allegations. Mr. Trump is accused of taking boxes of classified documents from the White House and then obstructing the efforts of the Justice Department trying to retrieve them. He's entered a plea of not guilty. An Australian woman missing for several days in Canadian Bear Country has been found dead. Julia Mary Lane's brothers confirmed on social media the 24-year-old was killed in a hiking accident. 3 people are dead and a man's in custody after a stabbing attack in England. More from Karianne Greenbank.
Here in Nottingham, a 31-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder and is now in custody after a string of attacks that began at around 4 o'clock this morning when 2 19-year-old university students were stabbed to death on a street in Nottingham city centre. A third person was then found dead on a street nearby. That was a man in his 50s. He had been stabbed as well. Police believe the suspect then stole his victim's van and used it to plough into 3 people, injuring all of them and leaving one man in a critical condition. Police say they are keeping an open mind about the motive for the attack and haven't ruled out terrorism.
The state's finances have taken a hit. The Treasurer will hand down a net operating deficit of $249 million in tomorrow's state budget. That's a long way from the $233 million surplus Stephen Mulligan forecast during the last budget. He says the government has poured more money into health and the flood recovery, and the return to surplus has been pushed back to 2023-24.
We want to get the budget back into surplus, particularly if economic conditions change. We need a surplus to be able to provide additional support to the community, but we're not going to do that at the expense of investing in services that South Australians need or supporting people through disasters.
The federal government argues opponents of The Voice are sharing misinformation to polarise politics. The Indigenous Australians Minister has delivered a major speech at a conference in Canberra after a poll showed support for The Voice is waning. Linda Burney says a number of claims from the No campaign are being taken out of context and posted online.
Friends, I fear that the No campaign are importing American-style Trump politics to Australia. At the heart is a post-truth approach to politics.
An Australian woman has been stung to death by bees in Peru. The 78-year-old was walking her dogs when she accidentally disturbed the insect's nest. She was left with more than 100 stings on her face alone. One of the dogs was also killed. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Let's start with footy. Port Adelaide will name its side tonight to tackle Geelong tomorrow night at Adelaide Oval. The Power set to make at least one change, with defender Lockie Jones out for about a month with a fractured jaw. Ryan Burton appears the most likely to replace him. The Power to train a little later this morning. Meantime, Hawthorn skipper James Sicily has been handed a 3-game ban for a dangerous tackle at the AFL Tribunal. Tiger Ryan Mansell was also given a 3-game ban for a brutal bump on Fremantle's James Aish. Meantime, Mansell's teammate and veteran Trent Cotchin is trying to keep celebrations low-key as he prepares to play his 300th game this weekend.
There's so many people that you'd love to thank and show appreciation for what they've given you across a long period of time, and I'm just really excited about giving back to those fans that have been there for our whole journey. And, you know, I'm one of those people that doesn't necessarily like it to be about me, so I'll definitely be parking that and pushing the celebrations on and make it a club thing.
Audio there thanks to Fox Footy. Well, the Denver Nuggets are NBA champions for the first time in their 47-year franchise history after beating the Miami Heat 94-89 to take out the best-of-7 series 4-1. Nikola Jokic was again the star with 28 points and 16 rebounds, and the understated Serbian was relieved post-match.
And now you are an NBA champion, Nikola. How does that feel?
It's good. It's good. The job is done. We can go home now.
Love it. Audio thanks to ESPN. And Ariane Titmus has failed to reclaim her world record in the women's 400-metre freestyle, but has still booked herself a ticket to next month's World Championships in Japan. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now with more on the freeway incident, here's traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
Good morning. Crayfor's got a major crash involving a B-double truck on the freeway near the Stirling ramp. The outbound lane of the freeway is currently closed to all traffic. Try Green Hill Road for smaller vehicles heading outbound, while inbound is open with delays and speeds reduced. Lane closed at Edwardstown this morning. South Road near Ackland Street, speeds at 25 with early morning cameras. Milne Road, Modbury North, and the Port of Expressway at Gilman. Head to Health offers free mental health services with no referral or appointment required. Call 1-800-595-212. This message is brought to you by the Australian Government, Canberra. Adelaide's most accurate traffic card, 5AA.
To the weather, a shower or two, a high of 16. A shower or two tomorrow, 17. Sunny on Friday, up to 19. And then showers developing Saturday, 17. At the moment, 10. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Harvey Norman clearance on now. Get a bonus Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 and $100 gift card when you buy the Samsung Galaxy S23 mobile. Only $1,349. Spot clean spills in a flash with Bissell Carpet and Upholstery Cleaner. Hot deal, $177. Australian made value in the Sealy Posturepedic Hudson Foam Queen mattress. A low $1,299. Race in for massive savings on home office furniture like the Racetech gaming desk and chair package. Hot price $599. Harvey Norman clearance on now.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the team at Lynn Andrews Real Estate have made it easy to manage residential and commercial property. Whether you own a single residential home or multiple commercial properties, our passion for property investment means we have a great deal of knowledge to share. How to invest safely and properly. Matching the right tenant with the right property every time. We're here to help. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
The Cherry Motor 5. State-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
22 to 8. Raz Fantasia is not too far away, but it is a Wednesday morning, so it's time to go around the courts.
It's time to go around the courts with Sean Fuster on 5AA Breakfast.
You can make a difference without getting involved through independent charity Crime Stoppers, supported by Police Credit Union. Sean, A man should never combine drinking with his new cat toy. Good morning to you.
Good morning, boys. That's one way in. I was going to say that we've all had an eBay purchase or three that we've regretted at times, but I think this one takes the cake.
Yes. Yeah, this is...
Cat toy, as in cat meow meow cat.
Yeah.
Cat as in meow meow cat. You know how cats like to chase laser pointers?
Oh,
shine one at the floor, make a cat run around a little bit.
Not being a cat owner, I wasn't familiar with that. I reckon a lot of cat owners probably aren't familiar with it either.
I've got a few friends that have figured out ways to keep their feline friends entertained and sort of take the zoomies out of the equation by, shining a bit of a laser pointer on the ground and having them dance around after it. It apparently uses up the energy and is a harmless way of doing things. And you can pick these things up for peanuts on places like eBay and stuff like that. But Shannon Glom, who I met outside the courts yesterday, had a bit of a different story. He decided to buy himself one of these laser pointers for the cat and got on the terps with his mate in the backyard and decided, let's see how high up in the air this thing can shine. Yeah. And of course, he shone it at a police helicopter, didn't he?
Well, he says he didn't know it was a police helicopter, though.
No, he didn't know it was a police helicopter, but he did shine it at a... Well, not really. I mean, if he shone it at a commercial helicopter, I think the effects would have been the same. It's just that you wouldn't have had the cops turning up at your doorstep 10 minutes later and saying, mate, you gave us a spot as to exactly where you are, right?
I sort of give this guy... Am I wrong to, Sean, give him a little bit of credit? Because it seems like he turned up in court, said, look, I'm an idiot, I was drunk, I'm just a moron. He just really sort of threw himself at the mercy of the court and public opinion.
Look, he absolutely did. This is a man who, believe it or not, is facing a 14-year jail term. When you interfere or prejudice the safe operation of an aircraft, that's a massive level crime. 14 years jail is the absolute maximum penalty. And as we've talked about on the show many times, the maximum penalty is reserved for the worst case scenario. So I don't think Mr. Glom's looking at 14 years in the clink for this. However, he is looking at some serious penalty because, as he conceded himself, he did his research after everyone told him, mate, you've muffed it pretty severely. And like he said, you can blind a pilot, you can damage equipment inside a helicopter. On the grand scale of things, you could cause the thing to have mechanical faults and start drifting toward the ground and cause an emergency situation. So, as you say, Will, he's done the right thing. He's turned up, he's fessed up, he's pleaded guilty at the first opportunity, said, no, completely my fault, and I did it out of ignorance. Didn't know it was a police chopper to start with, and then didn't know the level of damage I could have done. On top of that, he's also been duped by eBay in a way, because there's a couple of different types of laser pointer out there. Some of them are, point at a whiteboard or point at where the teacher talks or point for your cat. It's just a little tiny pale light. But some of them are weapons grade, the sorts of things that you're supposed to stick on the front of a gun if you're going spotting for ruse or something like that. And this one was more toward that level, but the eBay seller didn't warn him. So let the buyer beware, I guess.
Well, yeah, and I think, Sean, to your point, though, and, you're on for, 20 plus years working there on the corner of Angus Street and King William Street, and often you see humanity at its absolute worst. You see people who've been... found guilty, absolutely on toast, and they still come out of court, put their open palm into the face of cameramen, occasionally throw punches at people like you, tell you to F off, middle finger in the air. So this bloke, in his own weird way, is a bit of a breath of fresh air, isn't he, old Shannon Joseph Glom? Because, as you say, he rocked up, he took total ownership of what he did. He admitted that he was an idiot and that since then he'd reflected on it and he'd researched it. So the guy does deserve some credit, I think, for I sound like a total softie here, but I reckon he's done the right thing in hindsight, hasn't he?
No, look, Pembo, I agree with you. We've had situations in the past exactly like you described. We've also had situations in the past where someone will plead guilty in court and walk outside and come up to the media and give a totally self-serving explanation. I pleaded guilty, but. I'm thinking, for example, of the girl that spat and hit the workers at McDonald's.
Oh, yeah,
her whole explanation, her whole apology on air was, it wouldn't have happened if they hadn't antagonised me. Shannon Glom here has come out and said, look, mea culpa, I was drunk, I was stupid, I didn't know, and none of those things are an excuse. They're explanations for why I did what I did, and I hope it means that the court won't send me to jail for it, but it doesn't mean that there's any excuse for the stupidity that I had, shining a laser pointer into the air in the first place and certainly shining it at what turned out to be a police vehicle, but could have been some commercial vehicle or something else. I mean, imagine the guilt you'd have on your conscience if you were responsible for some damage or even some sort of air catastrophe as a result of a drunken mistake. So full props to Mr. Glom for saying, nah, I put my hand up and own it.
Yep, no sob story. Just said, I was a drunken idiot, I think might have been even his quote. Sean, great report, fascinating story. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Sean Fuster, Chief Court Reporter at The Advertiser and, of course, host of the excellent Just Lawful
Lesson
program.
learnt. Don't go to eBay to get a laser pointer. Just go to Spotlight and get a ball of yarn.
Exactly right.
Cats love that.
They tend not to bring down aircraft too, so they're sort of dual utility there. Now, SAPOL have just put out some advice about the Southeastern Freeway, which we know has been closed for all traffic heading back up into the hills on account of a truck that jackknifed. One lane now, they say, has been reopened for those heading east, so up towards the hills. Speed restrictions are in place. They say please drive to the conditions. There's been speed restrictions coming down the other way into town if you've been experiencing some delays or you're planning your movements this morning. But the big news now is there is some traffic getting through back up the hill heading east. So one lane with restrictions in place. We might take a break. We'll check traffic and come back with Raz Fantasia in just a moment.
Thanks, Will. At Crayford, still got dramas with that major crash involving a B-double truck on the freeway near the Stirling ramp. The outbound lane of the freeway is still currently closed to all traffic. Try Green Hill Road for smaller vehicles heading outbound, while inbound is open with delays and speeds reduced. Busy in a couple of other spots, including Marion Road at Marion, also Brighton Road at Somerton Park, and look out for cameras Jetty Road, Largs Bay, and Main North Road at Elizabeth Downs. Bob Jane T-Marts have a great deal for you this June. Head down to your local T-Mart and get 30% off a large range of selected Kumo when you buy 4 tyres. They'll look after you. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Need a forklift? Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Toyota is the world's #1 forklift brand with a great range of pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options, Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift.
Speak with One Solution and they'll tell you cybercrime is not a big business problem, a government problem or a small enterprise problem. It's everyone's problem. Ransomware, malware and adware remain the #1 threat. One call to One Solution will put your business in a safe place. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Get in touch with One Solution, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award. onesolution.net.au.
Now, nobody expects to see a car stuck on a staircase. What a bizarre situation that'd be to be in.
Well, no one expects to see a small car wedged under a truck either.
No, and no one expects to see a student in their backpack jammed in the closing door of a bus. But believe it or not, this stuff actually does happen.
So if the unexpected happens to you on the road, you can always expect the very best legal minds and advice from Duncan Bashir Hannon, providing legal services for all South Australians.
For more information, visit dbh.com.au. DBH Lawyers, with you and for you.
How easily could you save hundreds off your energy bills? That easy. Switch out your gas or electric hot water system for an energy-efficient heat pump with EcoVantage. Then sit back and save up to 70% on your water heating costs. And get it supplied and installed for as little as $0, thanks to government-facilitated subsidies. Yep, new hot water system from $0 that saves you hundreds. Pump your energy bills down with ecovantage.com.au.
Some builders think a sloping block has limitations. When Beechwood Homes look at a sloping block, they think, the possibilities. Beechwood Homes know how to make the most of a sloping block. In fact, they specialise in them. Beechwood will design a home that works with the land you have, taking full advantage of every square metre. So if you're looking at a sloping block, go for it. Beechwood has your back. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Save even more on a low mileage demo Cherry Emotive 5 now at Cherry Glen Osmond. Go Cherry.
Raz Fantasia, intercepted almost by Raz Fantasia. Raz Fantasia, Raz Fantasia, Raz Razio Fantasia. Razio.
Ho, 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 it's my
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Improves the angle. Sensational. Razio Fantasia. He's got 3.
Ended up with 4 on the day, just a handy 4. Razio, good morning to you.
Good morning. A couple of cheap ones. And that goal, actually, I was getting lipped up by the crowd. Some guy after, it was one of the best sledges I've ever heard.
Really?
Yep.
What did he say to you?
He was getting into me basically saying, I can't remember exactly, but something about Medicare paying too much for me. And I was trying not to laugh, like, as I was kicking it. It was one of the best I've ever heard. And then I had to point back at him and say, that was for you, because it was fantastic. Yeah, it was very good.
Oh, that's superb.
Very good.
Miss your drain on the public purse.
Oh, it was fantastic. They paid too much, and I was just like, that was pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, they're pretty unique, the old Central fans.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
Oh,
Must have felt good, mate.
Yeah, it did feel good. I just felt like, the first one was just getting used to it again, and now I'm starting to just, feel like me. I was moving a bit more like me, a bit more sharpness, and I think it's just that match fitness that it's going to take a couple of weeks to get back.
Well, the 4 goals were good, but you were well and truly amongst it, like in the run of play with 18 touches. So you were in the thick of it. Will predicted you were going to kick 4 the other day.
He knows his footy, the great man.
Yep.
He's the oracle.
How many do you want to kick this week? I'll set it up for you if you like.
Oh, against my old team, Norwood, I'd like to kick at least 6. Yeah,
okay.
Just really rub it in.
Well, that's going to be massive, because Norwood, current premiers, having their first win last weekend, the most bizarre start to the year. But Port Norwood, it's the biggest rivalry in SANFL, isn't it?
Great rivalry. I remember as a kid playing, in the under-18s before, at 4 o'clock before the league would play, and there'd be 8,000, 9,000 at Cooper Stadium, just packed out on a Friday night. So if they had some theatre to sample, they'd move that to a Friday night, please. It'd be great.
Under lights.
Marquee game.
Yeah.
Now you got the Thursday night game this week, Geelong. I want to take you back there before we look forward to that against the Bulldogs, which was a terrific game. They're a good side that tested you guys. You're a good analyst of football.
Yep.
What did you see that you liked up against a pretty high-quality opponent over there in Melbourne?
Yeah, I think I loved our relentless pressure. That was the biggest thing. And they had a run on at times, and we were just able to stick in it and just halt their momentum. And then we never really looked like losing, I didn't think. Our contest was really good, and I say it every week, but our midfield was just going to work. And then you put Pokey in there in the last quarter, and he has 14 touches and 3 clearances in the last quarter. So to have the ability to be able to just, we can just flick Pokey off the wing inside, or Ollie Wines off the wing inside, that's, I think, been really beneficial to our team, and it's going to be an asset against Geelong again.
Zach Butters seems like a confident, from the outside, I don't know, I've not spoken to him, seems like a confident young man. Has he talked up his Brownlow chances internally yet? Is he letting everyone know that he's pretty much the hottest player in the competition right now?
He's not, but we keep getting into him and just try to get him to break, but he's just holding strong. He's holding strong, but he's got, I reckon I said it a few weeks ago when he, when he took on Shai Bolton and just said, I'm going to get past you, and he's just growing in confidence every week. And I think Kenny and the coaches instill that in him, just to, we're happy, and he's instilling that in everyone, to be honest, happy to make mistakes, take players on, go for your kicks. If you miss it, that's okay. We're sort of just playing that free-flowing game.
We were saying the other day, his role out in the midfield in that Horn Francis goal, that was just one of the great team goals of 2023. And Tom Wren made the point that this is probably what Port's midfield is going to look like for the next sort of 5 to 7 years.
Yeah,
with
it is.
These young blokes.
Butters, Rosie, Drew, Horn Francis, they're all under 25.
Yeah.
So
Scary.
under 24. Yeah, which is, next 8 years, hopefully we can keep them all. Yeah.
Right, it's amazing. So, do you ever feel torn playing against the legs? Do you ever get out there and think,
Well, this will be my first time, so...
Yeah, you haven't done it before,
never.
have you?
Yeah, so... it'll be weird, definitely, but I'll know the ground quite well. So
what's it like within your family too? Because your old man's still he's the CEO.
Norwood. No, he's not. No, he's not my old man. But that'll be that'll be weird.
Yeah.
And a lot of my family still go for Norwood, so it'll be fun. Yeah.
Are there connections in obviously not players, but staffing and things from for people you know within the club from back when you played as a junior?
Yeah, well, we had our premiership reunion like only a month ago, so we were there watching when Norwood played North. And yeah, saw like lots of people that we knew, and yeah, it's going to be weird. Tommy Jonas being a Norwood boy as well.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Yeah, going back there, yeah. So it'll be really weird.
Tough night for Norwood fans. I suspect
You have to wear a
they'll be
disguise when you're going back to the car, mate.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
it'll be especially difficult after you've kicked 6, of course, too, which is the prediction. You Babe Ruthed it a little bit earlier. I like that. 6 goals for Orazio on what will be hopefully a Friday night too when the sample moves it. Mate, great to have you in. Great to see you kicking goals as well. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
and
welcome back, mate.
We'll give you one more bag in the sample, and then we'll start our Come On Ken campaign on 5 to Play Breakfast. All right?
Big shout out to that central supporter though.
Yeah, that was great. That's probably the best sledge I've heard ever in my short time playing footy. So it was great. Thanks, guys.
Mate. Good luck. Good on you, Raz. With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussie. Just got a message from Matt, who lives up in the hills. He's said he's just come down the freeway. The jackknife truck has been cleared. The right-hand lane and the tunnels on the down track is still closed. Speed limit at 40. So there's movement in both directions now, albeit restricted on the freeway, which is some good news. Time for John Blake. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing, and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
Yes, Steph.
Congratulations, Premier.
Oh, thanks, Steph.
You're so blessed, Premier. Marvellous news.
Yeah, Annabelle and I are very pleased.
4th one on its way.
Yes.
Well, the 5th one's already arrived.
Huh?
Tom Goodson-Tonis is here to see you.
Oh, okay. Send him in, Steph.
Will do. You can go in. Thank you, Stephanie.
Come in, Tom.
Congratulations, Premier Peter! Ho-ho-ho!
Thanks, Tom.
Boy, oh boy, most emperors rely on bread and circuses to take the public's mind off all the problems, but you've gone above and beyond. Ho-ho!
Oh, please.
The lengths you will go to make the people like you is amazing.
We didn't do it for that reason, Tom.
So, look, we are hoping for another girl, aren't we?
Well, we have 2 girls and a boy already, so...
Yeah, but we can't have a boy.
Who's this we you keep talking about?
Listen, if Annabelle has a boy, it's going to be a disaster. Now, look,
What?
Think of the gender reveal, Premier Peter. The
gender reveal? What are you talking...
It goes kabang in all blue powder and blue confetti and blue balloons. It'll be blue, blue, blue. It's going to look like a Liberal Party election rally.
Oh.
You cannot have a
You
boy.
can't be serious.
What sort of message does that send?
That the Premier and his wife had a baby.
A Liberal baby.
We're not having a gender reveal.
Well, you better keep the gender a secret. That's all I can say.
Well, we probably will until it's born.
No!
What?
You've got to keep it a secret until the election.
The kid will be 3 years old, Tom.
Exactly. Then he won't be a problem.
Well, from John Blake coming up after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors.
Breaking at 8 coming up next. State budget coming up tomorrow. I'm going to be all over that. I'm going to be going to the lockup for my sins.
Oh, you poor
Hang on,
thing.
here we go. Well, look at this. It's the Smeg Toaster.
The Smeg Toaster brought in by Sam Daddo, and it is his teal. I think that's no accident. Now, that is because it is time for some rumour action.
Give us the tea, Adelaide.
Building or renovating, your first choice should be visiting the Smeg showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg. Went there the other day. Great showroom, great place to go. And I tell you what.
Great gear.
You add value to your house with Smeg, and you
Look
get
at
that
that
toaster. And I'm telling you right now, you become an it suburb in Adelaide. Now, all you need to do is provide us with some rumours, some information. But if you call in, you're more likely to win the toaster, is all I'll say. 8223 0000. You can remain entirely anonymous. Luce and Sam will come up with a code name for you. But if you've heard some goss around town, we'd love to hear it.
Big or small?
Big or small. We don't discriminate. 5AA News coming up. We'll get to your rumours next.
How do you make the new Honda CR-V even better? You make it black. Really black. Visit Formula Honda in Modbury or Glen Osmond today and fall in love with the CR-V Black Edition. Its unique black gloss exterior is so sleek, you turn heads everywhere you go. And it gets even better. A special end of financial year discount of $2,000. The offer ends on 30th of June unless stock runs out. Formula Honda, Modbury or Glen Osmond.
We've all been affected by the floods, but our resilience runs deep, ready to rise up to the occasion.
The river is calling you.
to explore it, rediscover it, treasure it.
Delve into its roaming creeks. See its spectacular floodplains.
Embrace its breathtaking views.
Be part of the revival. Rise up for our river.
Visit southaustralia.com/river revival.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easy for property investors and the tenants of their properties. Everyone is treated with integrity and respect. That's the Lynn Andrews way. For commercial and residential property management, we are here to help. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
We told you they'd go quick. Over 70% of tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery have already been sold. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate $4 million grand prize and live mortgage-free right near the city. With over 70% of tickets already gone, you'd better get yours now. Join the fight. To see full details and get your tickets, visit homelottery.com.au. Licence M14364.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two and 16 with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Complete windscreen supply and fit, front, rear and door glass. Proudly South Australian since 1976.
Police are investigating a truck crash near Stirling early this morning. The truck and 2 trailers have been towed from the scene, but Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says it caused traffic chaos.
So the crash happened about 2:20 this morning. Police responded to reports of a truck crashing onto the concrete barrier on the out track of the southeastern freeway, and thankfully the driver wasn't injured.
The police investigation into the Hunter Valley wedding bus crash will continue for some time, despite the driver facing court charged over the 10 deaths. More from Clinton Maynard.
58-year-old Brett Button has spent the night with family in Maitland. Over the next 2 months, he will need to abide by strict bail conditions before his next appearance in a Newcastle court. During that time, police will continue to build the case against him and have indicated there will be additional charges. Already they've taken evidence from 10 witnesses who allege Button was speeding and told them to fasten their seatbelts. More survivors will be interviewed as they're released from hospital.
Economists fear up to 200,000 Aussies could lose their jobs over the next 18 months, with the RBA's narrow path for the economy continuing to add strain on households and businesses. NAB Chief Economist Alan Oster says he believes the interest rate will reach 4.6% by the end of winter. And the state budget will be handed down tomorrow. We're now facing a net operating deficit of $249 million, with the return to surplus pushed back to next year. The government says it's because it's poured more money into health and the flood recovery. One of Donald Trump's top advisors doesn't expect the former US president to be convicted as he faces a 37-count indictment. Mr. Trump has pleaded not guilty in a Miami court. Former US intelligence officer Anthony Schaefer's told Today if a jury was willing to convict him, he believes it would be overturned.
He's the Article 2 officer. All authorities relating to classified information comes from the president, and there's no expiration date on what his rights are regarding classified information or declassifying things according to the Constitution.
Donald Trump is flying back to New Jersey ahead of a campaign fundraising event tonight. 3 people are dead and a man's in police custody after a stabbing attack in England. More from Curry-Ann Greenbank.
Here in Nottingham, a 31-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder and is now in custody after a string of attacks that began at around 4 o'clock this morning when 2 19-year-old university students were stabbed to death on a street in Nottingham city centre. A third person was then found dead on a street nearby. That was a man in his 50s. He had been stabbed as well. Police believe the suspect then stole his victim's van and used it to plough into 3 people, injuring all of them and leaving one man in a critical condition. Police say they are keeping an open mind about the motive for the attack and haven't ruled out terrorism.
11 people have been killed in a Russian missile attack which has struck a block of units and warehouses in Ukraine. The blasts were felt in the hometown of Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. None of the targets had military links. And the Beatles will release a new and final record featuring the vocals of John Lennon with a little help from AI. Sir Paul McCartney says artificial intelligence has been used to extract Lennon's voice from an old demo. He's told the BBC it will be out this year.
When we came to make what will be the last Beatles record, it was a demo that John had that we worked on, and we've just finished it up. It'll be released this year. We were able to take John's voice and get it pure through this AI, so that then we could mix the record as you would normally do.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide's Raz Fantasia says he's starting to feel back to his best as he makes a return from a quad injury. Fantasia booted 4 goals and had 18 touches against Central in the SANFL on the weekend, and he told David and Will his second game back felt much better than the first.
Yeah, it did feel good. I just felt like, the first one was just getting used to it again, and now I'm starting to just, feel like me. I was moving a bit more like me, a bit more sharpness, and I think it's just that match fitness that it's going to take a couple of weeks to get back.
Fantasia will play again with the Maggies in the SANFL against Norwood, with the AFL side to take on Geelong to be named tonight. At the AFL Tribunal last night, there were 3 game suspensions handed to Hawthorn captain James Sicily and Richmond's Ryan Mansell, but Dan Butler had his 1-match suspension thrown out. And Collingwood has signed coach Craig McRae to a 2-year contract extension. McRae is now contracted to coach the Magpies until the end of 2026, and the Pies have agreed to extend Scott Pendlebury's career for yet another year. And clubs have said they're expecting a 10-round AFLW fixture to be released next week. Let's get to cricket, and Aussie Test star Travis Head believes a more relaxed attitude has been one of the contributing factors to his stunning run of form as he prepares for Friday's Ashes opener against England. Head was man of the match against India in the Test Championship final with 163, and he told Channel 9's Today Show he knows exactly what he needs to do to get the best out of his game.
I continue to work hard at my game, but also, just try and be as relaxed and consistent as I possibly can, and I've worked extremely hard, and it's nice that it's been a really, really good couple of years, and hopefully a couple more to come. Yeah, let's hope so. Nick Kyrgios has been knocked out of the Stuttgart Open in the opening round in his first match back from a 7-month injury layoff. And Ariane Titmus has fallen 2 seconds short of reclaiming her 400-metre freestyle world record, but still comfortably secured a spot on the Australian team for next month's World Championships in Japan. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
At Crayford's, major crash involving a B-double truck on the freeway near the Stirling ramp. The outbound lane now has 1 lane open. However, do look out for slippery conditions after a fluid spill, while inbound is open with delays and speeds reduced. Busy also this morning, Marion Road at Marion, also Brighton Road at Somerton Park, with cameras McIntyre Road, Salisbury East, and Midway Road at Elizabeth Downs. Looking for the perfect snack? Try Porto's new chips and strips. 2 crispy chicken strips and snack chips with your choice of dipping sauce, just $5. Grab yours from a Porto today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
To the weather, a shower or two and 16 today, a shower or two tomorrow, 17, sunny on Friday up to 19, and then showers developing on Saturday, 17. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
You give us the tea and we give you the toaster, thanks to the excellent Smeg showroom at Demi Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg. Breaking 8 coming up in a moment as well. Lucy's review of beaches, and then after 8:30 today, David Koch will join us. His first post-sunrise cross to 5AA breakfast.
The relaxing new world of Kochie.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. That's ahead. Happening right now, there's some lanes being reopened on the freeway now. Traffic moving in both directions, according to reports from listeners. We thought we'd go direct to the source for the latest. Kylie Simpson from SAPOL is on the line. Kylie, what's the situation there? Sounds like the truck's been cleared.
Good morning. It has. It was cleared before 7, which was a great job. The truck and 2 trailers were towed from the scene. So 1 lane has since been reopened for the out track, and 2 lanes are open for inbound traffic. still with speed restrictions, and it is quite slippery for those heading into the hills because there was a bit of a spill this morning as a result of that crash. So to obviously drive to the conditions, but it is looking a bit better than what we thought it might have at 8 o'clock this morning.
Oh, that is some good news. Do you have any more information on what caused the incident, or indeed what the truck was doing?
No, that'll form part of the investigation. So I guess anyone that's got any information to contact Crime Stoppers, but at this stage we're still investigating, and thankfully there were no serious injuries.
That is good news. Good to have it all open up and, in part opened up. There's still speed restrictions in place, but thank you for that, Kylie. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson from SAPOL. Got a call, in fact, as well, from someone saying if you're bypassing the freeway this morning on the way through the hills, beware. There's a car flipped on its roof in Clarendon on Bakers Gully Road outside of the Windermere Kennels. So that is something that we'll get SAPOL to have a look into as well, but not on their radar yet. Thank you for that text, and indeed all the information you provide us on the Duttons text line throughout the morning. See at the brand new Duttons, Mitsubishi, Hyundai and Ram showrooms in Murray Bridge now open.
Well, overnight the Adelaide City Council has... and do not worry, Adelaide City councillors, this isn't an attack on you, this is a straight news piece for a change. But the council has cleared the path for the descendants of Harry Breaker Moran, who's a convicted war criminal. His supporters saying that the process by which he was convicted was flawed, with the extrajudicial execution of prisoners of war in 1901 during the Boer War in what's now known as South Africa. One of Breaker Morant's descendants, a woman by the name of Kathy Morant, with the support of some historians, some military historians, has been lobbying for years now to have him recognised on the South African War Memorial. That's the one that's down there on the corner of North Terrace and King William Street outside the entrance to Government House. What the council has done is it is endorsed advising Ms Morant, that is providing council support, to lodge a development application under the Planning Act for the changes to be made to the War Memorial to include his name. It also says that the council admin will provide reasonable levels of assistance to Ms Morant or any other applicant if they decide to lodge a development application. Now, there's a little bit of confusion as to, not confusion, but there's a few sort of lines of command issues in terms of who's responsible for this, because the memorial is not actually on parkland, which means that the council doesn't have any ultimate control over what does or doesn't go on it. That decision will have to be made by the Heritage Department, but it will then be up to the council to say, yes, okay, we accept that, and the change can be made to the War Memorial. So basically, the process for the family, the descendants of Moran, has now been sort of formally recognised by the council. They're going to help them out to that end, and if the heritage authorities come back and say, yep, we've got no issue with this, then the council will have one final look at it, bearing in mind that it's still hugely controversial. I mean, there's one historian I can think of who wrote a pretty powerful op-ed for In Daily a few years ago, arguing vehemently that there's no way Moran should be recognised. That said, there's plenty of people who are supporting him. And also, I think it's Bathurst Council has just let his co-accused, Hancock, who was also executed, have his name put on the memorial there, which creates something of a precedent. So the process is underway. There's still surely going to be debate around the merits or otherwise of recognising this man. But for the Morant family, it is a significant win on the path towards they regard as belated recognition.
13 after 8, let's get to some rumours.
Give us the tea, Adelaide.
Starting with Baguette in Port Noarlunga. Baguette, good morning.
Baguette. I have heard a rumour that a certain fitness coach that used to work for Liverpool, who's quite local, is being headhunted by Ange Postecoglou to rejoin the EPL to assist him at Tottenham Hotspurs.
Well, that would be a blow to one of the local sides, most certainly, wouldn't it, Baguette? Thank you. Makes sense. If he wants an Australian fitness guru with experience at the highest level, that would make a lot of sense. That would be very frustrating also. Thank you, Baguette. Sourdough, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for taking the call.
Not at all, Sourdough.
What have you got for us?
There's been a large piece of land near Salisbury opened up, handshake deal, and it's either going to have SDA and supported, like disability supported living, or will be community affordable housing.
Wow. Have you got any more detail on where it is, Sourdough?
Just off of Saints Road, near the reserve. If you go down, instead of turning left and around, you go through the little cul-de-sac near the reserve.
Okay,
good to know.
Interesting.
Might be something that comes out tomorrow in the budget.
Yeah, well.
Quite possibly.
Good time for rumours.
It certainly is. Thank you, Sourdough. Let's go to Focaccia in Theverton. Morning, Focaccia.
Good morning, boys. How are we?
Good, thanks, Focaccia.
Good. A certain supermarket chain is sick and tired of stolen trolleys, and that's costing the company thousands of dollars a year in lost trolleys. So they're going to introduce lockable wheels. So when you try to leave that car park, that trolley's going to lock up, and you're only going to go as far as the car park.
Like GPS location technology type?
Well, it's not GPS, because it won't be using GPS. It'll be using a magnetic field, where the trolley
will stop working when they get outside of the range of the car park.
The wheel will stop working, it will lock up, and you won't be able to drag the trolley because the wheels will be locked up. So
that's a cool design idea, because I can't stand going to Aldi because of those $2 thing. And who's got a $2 coin on them these days to get the trolley out? It makes me go, I'm not going there. I'll get a basket. And
I find that every time I go to another airport, because at Adelaide Airport, there's always just trolleys around that you can use. You go elsewhere and you've got to suddenly find a coin.
Yeah.
It drives you nuts.
It's crazy.
Great rumours to get us started. We keep the rumours and the line open till 9 o'clock. So
Baguette, Sourdough and Focaccia, you're off to a flyer. We're just waiting to hear from ciabatta and croissant.
I think we know what Lucy's doing after the show.
Going to a bakery.
Yeah, I think she was inspired by Donald Trump's visit to a bakery in Miami. Not sure what he ordered yet. We've tried to get the team
Well,
at the bottom of that.
a few people have been cracking jokes about that. Francis on the Foodland live stream and an anonymous Dutton's text is saying that what Trump does need to order is a huge slice of humble pie.
I don't think that's on the menu for Donald.
Humility. He doesn't do humility.
Nah, it's not really been part of his shtick, both as a politician and as a business person.
Or as a human being.
Keep those rumours coming in. Building or renovating, your first choice will be visiting the Smeg showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg. 8223 is the number. Of course, you can text us too on the Dutton's text line, or indeed, like we had Francis do, just jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook or YouTube live stream and leave us your thoughts there. We're going to check traffic and come back with Lucy's review of beaches. And I think the more pertinent question, did she cry?
Thanks, Will. At Crayfirst, that major crash still going involving that B double truck on the freeway near the Stirling ramp. The outbound lane now has one lane open. However, do look out for slippery conditions after with a fluid spill, while inbound is open with heavy delays and speeds reduced. Also busy, Marion Road at Marion, Brighton Road at Somerton Park, with cameras at the Grove Way, Salisbury Heights and Yorktown Road at Elizabeth Park. Grab life by the Jeep with an adventure bonus of up to $6,000 cash off across the Jeep range. Ends June 30. Don't miss out. Visit jeep.com.au today. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Port's perfect, 10 wins. I think, look, there was a record last week. It's the way they've gone about it. And for me, Port Adelaide are playing committed football with a spirit that the club ethos was built on. And the way they were able to just continually take the challenge from the Bulldogs and then turn it around was just inspirational.
Rowie and Timmy G.
They're just getting better. Yeah. They are honestly just getting better.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
Introducing Nissan Future Value Business Plus, a new fleet finance solution for small to medium businesses offering competitive weekly repayments, including the cost of scheduled servicing for the loan term. Available now on the Nissan Navara SL 4x4 Dual Cab Auto. Plan confidently for the road ahead with Nissan Future Value Business Plus. Visit nissan.com.au/business plus or contact your local Nissan dealer. Approved ABN registered small to medium fleet applicants of Nissan Financial Services. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
Speak with One Solution and they'll tell you cybercrime is not a big business problem, a government problem, or a small enterprise problem. It's everyone's problem. Ransomware, malware, and adware remain the #1 threat. One call to One Solution will put your business in a safe place. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Get in touch with One Solution, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award. onesolution.net.au.
Now, searching for premium seafood at unbeatable prices? Well, you can't go past Sam Test Seafoods. Where else can you find 4 kilos of your favourite seafood fillets for just $60? Snap frozen kilo packs with a mouth-watering variety of options.
Indulge in the delicate flavours of Australian red snapper, New Zealand John Dory, Pacific Ocean flathead, and the smoky goodness of our South African smoked cod.
Ooh, haven't had that for years. I love that stuff. Now, if you're craving something skinless, how about portions of Tassie Atlantic salmon, Tassie Blue Grenadier, and for a satisfying crunch, try their crumb prawns, calamari, snapper, garfish, and salt and pepper squid.
And when it comes to true ocean fresh seafood, don't miss out on garfish fillets, $43.99 a kilo, Coorong mullet fillets, $29.99 a kilo, and Port Lincoln black mussels, just $9.50 per kilo.
That's amazing value, those mussels. That'd feed a family of 4 with a big loaf of bread, a bit like our callers this morning for the rumour file. Visit Sam Test Seafoods and embark on a seafood paradise journey. Your taste buds are in for a treat. Get in there. Love going in. It's open 7 days for your convenience.
You've decided to build? It's exciting stuff. When you've found land, it's a good idea to get advice on what you can build on your new parcel of paradise. Get Steve from Beechwood Homes to take a look. There's no obligation, and you'll get a great understanding of what's possible. Sloping block, flat block, weird shaped block, or block on a cliff. Speak with Steve from Beechwood Homes for all the possibilities. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. On time, on budget, on the job.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Save even more on a low mileage demo Cherry Emotive 5 now at Cherry Glen Osmond. Go Cherry.
21 after 8. Koshi coming up. We've got some Best of SA tickets to give away as well. That'll happen after 8:30 this morning. If you're watching along on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream, we know Lucy's wandered into the studio. Yesterday, listeners voted by way of about 5-2. They called in, I think, that Beaches would be the Bette Midler movie that Lucy would watch, given that the category was Bette Midler movies. It was the Beaches v. the Rose, and Beaches won out. In large part, people wanted to see if they could crack Lucy, I think. It's less about the film than it was about, can they just drag a tear out of her dry eyes. Luce, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Now, Will and I haven't asked you anything about your viewing experience yesterday, Luce, to keep the surprise fresh for us.
Well, what do you reckon? Do you think I cried or not?
No.
I don't think you did.
This is very interesting. You guys think I have a black soul.
No, every time I guess what you do, I'm wrong. So maybe you did cry. I suppose there's 2 scenarios. I think you didn't.
All right. I did, actually. I did cry.
Oh.
No, possibly.
Everyone had Lucy cried in your sweep at home. Congratulations to you this morning.
I didn't cry as much as I thought.
Okay.
I did cry a little bit.
And that's all right. We'll take that.
I'll tell you why in the review. It was, of course, a tale of everlasting friendship and the trials and tribulations that come with it. It is probably the film so far this year that I've related to the most, hence why I cried. It had all the makings of a classic chick flick for the first hour and a half, which means it didn't have too hefty of a plot, but the last half hour really did hit me in all the feels. Bette Midler was excellent, and her contrasting co-lead, Barbara Hershey, equally as strong a character. Now, I know know our boss here at Nova, Katie, is listening. Katie, I know this is one of your favourite all-time movies, but please let me keep my job for this. I give it a strong 3.5 stars.
For you, Luce, that's a reasonable grade. Yeah. You're not in the business of just handing out 5s to help people feel better.
No film has got a 5, and a film that's actually made me cry is certainly not going to get a 5.
Oh, you don't see that. What about... You don't think something that is powerful enough to tug at your heartstrings deserves to be rewarded as a sort of giving it artistic value that elicited emotion from you?
No.
Okay.
I feel a lot of different emotions for all these films. This one, I went to an all-girls school. I have long-time girlfriends, and this is exactly this storyline. So I related to that. The ending I haven't related to, which I won't give away for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. But 3.5. The scene I've picked is how the two friends met at 12 years old.
Don't tell me. You're lost. I must see 100 cases like you every day. You want a drag? A drag? You know, a drag on my cigarette. It'll calm your nerves. I just want to get back to our hotel. But I can't remember the name. Big or small? Big. Ritzy or cheap? I guess it's Ritzy. Does it have a fountain in front, a pool inside, and a bunch of fruits in monkey suits playing violins in the lobby? Yes! Bet your ass it's Ritzy.
Yeah, so that is the young Cece and young, what's her name? No, Whitney's her last name. Hillary. Young Hillary Whitney, where they meet under the boardwalk in Atlantic City, and they became friends and pen pals from that moment on.
Given the category was about Bette Midler, do you moved to become a Bette Midler fan, having seen the film now? Do you understand the gravitas that she has in the movie industry?
Yes, definitely. I've seen, is it Old Wives Club or something, or Book Club or something she's in? I actually quite enjoyed that. Interestingly, that scene does not have Bette Midler in it. That's got Mayim Bialik, who's now famed for Big Bang Theory and the new host of Jeopardy. I found Bette Midler really entertaining. And when she first started singing, I've never heard her sing. So I was like, I don't think this is her.
She had a great voice.
Clearly it's her.
Yeah.
She was great.
Good
film, Katie.
There's so many male buddy films, but there's not many female buddy films. The other one obviously sort of springs to mind is Thelma and Louise. Have you ever seen that?
Have not.
That's a good film. That's a really good film.
I do like Susan Sarandon, so maybe that'll be in the movie bowl somewhere.
She's good.
Magnificent work,
Beaches.
Luce.
And also I realised yesterday I made that really dumb comparison about beaches versus Jaws.
Because, I like that.
Set on a beach. But in hindsight, watching the film and the ending scene, I feel like it's entirely inappropriate to compare those two films because they're set on a beach.
Oh, no. It's inappropriateness born of ignorance, which is actually one of the mottos of this show.
Yeah,
so that
exactly.
was fine.
Well, you can make it a three-way contest, throw Saving Private Ryan into the mix as well, because there's some beach scenes at the start of that one.
Again, I know that's about war, so it's not really a comparison.
The old Normandy landing.
But throw it in there.
Yeah.
Good on you, Luce.
Are you going to buy the
Thank
CD of You Are the Wind Beneath My Wings today? Or probably...
I won't be buying a CD.
Probably got a CD player, have you?
I do, my car. The old...
Well, there you go.
Molly the Mazda's got a CD player
You've got a
still.
properly made car. It's got a CD player in it.
Oh, my.
No, that piece of rubbish we took to Melbourne.
I did text Katie, our boss, after her first song.
Shouldn't have said that. It's probably given to us by one of the advertisers. Anyway, I withdraw that remark, Mr. Speaker.
They no longer exist, that advertiser.
Fair enough.
Under the Boardwalk, her opening number, I texted Katie and said, strong start for the movie.
Well, we'll get your review of music next time. Good on you, Luce.
Thank you.
Movies are better on the big screens at Wallace Cinemas, Mitcham, Mount Barker, Noarlunga and the Piccadilly. Wallace.com.au.
Please don't hold this against me, but if Buy Urban bathrooms and kitchens is not your thing, well, that's okay. I mean, if people gushing over your new kitchen and bathroom means nothing to you, nothing at all, that's completely fine, I guess. But if you do appreciate millimetre-perfect craftsmanship and service of the highest standard, start here. Buyurban.com.au. Adelaide's home renovation experts.
What's the best thing about winter? Definitely the Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer Special. Get super cozy with up to 40% off. That's up to 40% off our entire range of curtains and blinds, including our energy-efficient window coverings. With Bob Burns Blinds, you'll get that quality show home look, and you'll save money on energy bills by trapping the heat in your home. Get set for winter now with the Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer Special. Book your free measure and quote at bobburnsblinds.com.au.
Well, by now, everyone knows about Call Me Compton's products.
Of course. Well, word was bound to get out.
Leaks?
Not a chance. Call Me has scientifically designed leak guards.
Ooh, effective?
Well, had the US Army used them,
Yeah?
we never would have heard of the Ecuadorian embassy.
That's some protection.
And if you're on a home care package or an NDIS participant, Call Me will give you a free trial pack worth up to $100.
Oh.
Just go to callme.com.au.
If you thought it was tricky to source a great end of financial year deal on a new Volkswagen, think again. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen has loaded up on new stock. That's a massive range of new and demo Volkswagens available for delivery right now. Loads of colours, loads of options. Plus on-site finance options available. Get in now and secure your new Volkswagen before the end of financial year. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
It's tax time at Bunnings Trade. Get in quick for an amazing deal on the AEG 18-volt Fusion 10-piece mega kit, just $1,999. That's over $3,500 worth of AEG power tools for just $1,999. Plus, purchase before June 30 and get your choice of AEG nailer skin, Fusion lawnmower skin, or 4 5-amp force batteries via redemption. Don't miss out this tax time at Bunnings Trade. Helping business is our trade.
FIVEAA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to FIVEAA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two and 16 with the 8:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red koala.
Traffic is flowing again on the freeway near Stirling after a truck jackknifed this morning, but Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says there are still delays.
The truck and 2 trailers were towed from the scene. So 1 lane has since been reopened for the out track, and 2 lanes are open for inbound traffic, still with speed restrictions, and it is quite slippery for those heading into the hills because there was a bit of a spill this morning as a result of that crash.
And police are investigating a taxi crash at Hilton last night. It ran into a tree on Sir Donald Bradman Drive just before 10. The driver, a 56-year-old Smithfield man, suffered serious injuries and was taken to the RAH. There were no other passengers in the car at the time, and the taxi was towed from the scene. The state budget will be handed down tomorrow, and it'll be in the red. Treasurer Stephen Mulligan will deliver a net operating deficit of $249 million. Last year, he was talking a $233 million surplus. But he says the government's made extra money available for health and the Riverland flood recovery.
We were faced with a simple choice. We either try and stick it out to deliver a surplus, or we put money where it's needed into both health and flood recovery. We've chosen what we think is the right decision, and that's supporting the community through difficult times in the Riverland, and also making sure that people can get the treatment they need in our health system.
Donald Trump is flying back to New Jersey ahead of a campaign fundraising event tonight, hours after facing court on 37 criminal charges. The former US president has pleaded not guilty to taking classified documents from the White House and obstructing justice. Police in the UK say a crime spree which has left 3 people dead is horrific and tragic. A 31-year-old man's been arrested accused of stabbing 3 people to death in the street in Nottingham before stealing a car and running over 3 pedestrians. Counter-terrorism officers are working with police to try to establish a motive. An Australian woman who disappeared while hiking in bear country in Canada has been found dead. Julia Mary Elaine's brother shared an update on social media saying his 24-year-old sister was killed in a hiking accident. The family's asking for time to process her death. An urgent search is continuing for a baby girl taken from Ipswich Hospital yesterday. More from Matt Hepworth.
Police issued an Amber Alert around 5:30 yesterday afternoon after a 1-day-old baby girl was taken from Ipswich Hospital. 2 women were seen taking the baby and putting her into a white Suzuki Liana. That car has since been located. However, the search continues for the baby and 18-year-old Chloe Bornan. Officers say the baby may be at significant risk.
And Canadian crooner Michael Bublé wowed fans at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre last night. He'll perform again tonight as part of his national tour. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Ray.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide forward Raz Fantasia says a licence to play with freedom is helping Port in its record-breaking winning streak. Zach Butters has been electric this season and is one of the Brownlow favourites. And Fantasia told 5AA Breakfast the coach Ken Hinkley is giving him the licence to play loose.
He's instilling that in everyone, to be honest. Like, happy to make mistakes, take players on, go for your kicks. If you miss it, that's okay. Like, we're sort of just playing that free-flowing game.
The Power will train this morning ahead of tomorrow night's clash against Geelong at home. To cricket now, English spinner Moeen Ali says a text message from Test captain Ben Stokes simply reading Ashes, enticed him out of retirement for the upcoming series. He says he expects to be targeted by the Australian batters when the series begins on Friday night our time. And Aussie Nick Kyrgios has made a shaky return to the tennis court after recovering from a knee injury going down in straight sets in the opening round of the Stuttgart Open to Wu Yibing. Better news, though, for fellow Aussie Chris O'Connell, who beat German Daniel Altmaier in straight sets, while Alexei Popyrin also won his first-round match, which was at the Dutch Open, beating Frenchman Arthur Rinderknecht, while there were mixed results on the women's side, with Kimi Birrell having a win, but Priscilla Hon was beaten. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
At Craig, we've still got some really heavy delays after that crash involving a B-double truck on the freeway near the Stirling ramp. The outbound track now has one lane open. However, do look out for slippery conditions after a fluid spill there, while inbound is open with delays and speeds reduced. Busy at the moment, Brighton Road at Somerton Park, also Tapley Hill Road at Springfield, with cameras this morning, Jetty Road, Largs Bay, and Main North Road at Elizabeth Downs. The Makita battery sale is on this Saturday and Sunday at Toolkit Depot, with extra savings when you buy 5 or more batteries. Only at Toolkit Depot, your tax time partner. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
To the weather, a shower or two and 16 today, a shower or two tomorrow, 17, sunny on Friday up to 19, and showers developing again on Saturday, 17. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
The Cherry Emoda 5. State-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
24 minutes to 9. Sam Daddo's just gone off the phone with the bakery that Donald Trump that appeared at following his court appearance in Miami. We were hoping to get them on. We wanted to see what he ordered. It was a huge...
Probably a Cubano in Miami.
The Versailles Cuban Bakery Restaurant is the place.
Yum. It would have been a Cubano.
The people inside sang him happy birthday because it's his birthday tomorrow in the United States. That is Donald Trump's. They don't speak English, so we couldn't get them on, unfortunately.
No, I think they said something in Spanish to Sam like, well, I won't say in case there's any Spanish speakers listening.
But they didn't want to come on.
The word pendejo might have got a bit of a run there.
They didn't. Yeah, they weren't. We just want to know what he ordered, if anything. Post-court case.
Have you ever had a Cubano?
Like a sandwich?
Yeah, with like about 1 million slices of ham in it.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Really good.
Absolutely sensational. Really good. So we can't bring you the Donald Trump exclusive, unfortunately.
Never mind.
That's okay. We tried. All right, let's... it does tell us a bit of a story about Trump's supporter base in the history of left-right politics in the United States, that it's amongst non-English, traditional non-English speaking, that are supporting a Republican candidate who promised to build a wall.
Yeah, but the biggest driver of immigration to Florida, particularly Miami, people fleeing communism.
So they see the left of politics.
Yeah, they're not voting for the Democrats because they see them as soft on communism.
All right, let's have a look at the fuel situation here in Adelaide. You can download the free RAA app today to find the cheapest fuel in an instant. Here are the cheap spots. The BP South Road St Mary's, $1.76.5. The United Grand Junction Road Wingfield, $1.55.9. Get there if you're in the area. That's cheap. The Ampol North East Road Holden Hill, $1.65.5. And Diesel's been pretty good, actually. It's stuck below $1.70 at the moment. The United Prospect Road, Blair Athol, the cheapest at $1.67.5. Now, we are just days away from our Best of SA big dinner. It's the big event of the year, really, for 5AA, and we love it. We get listeners along.
do.
We see the wonderful businesses that sustain employment here in South Australia and that advertise with us here on 5AA as well. And it turns out to be a hell of a lot of fun. Adelaide Oval this Friday night. You can get along if you call in now on 8223 0000, because today we're celebrating Balhanna Nursery.
Today I'm with Sam Luke, who is the manager of Balhanna Nurseries. Sam, winter is the perfect time to start thinking about planting trees.
Certainly is, and there's thousands of trees just about to go out the door. This is our bare-rooted season, so it's the time where the trees are dormant, they transplant easily, perfect time for planting.
It looks just so beautiful out there in the nursery. All the little baby trees just waiting for someone to buy them.
They're all our children.
This business has been going for a long time. It just didn't happen overnight.
No, this has got a lot of history in it. Actually, this business began in 1887, so we're celebrating 136 years. With that comes a lot of knowledge and experience and customer relations, and being part of the South Australian picture for all that period of time. People know us well. We feel very much part of the community.
Now, you're a wholesale nursery, so where do folks buy your trees from?
All good garden centres is our best answer. But yeah, so South Australia supports us really well. We do quite a bit interstate as well.
Now, they're really easy to spot in the garden centre because of the
Balhanna green bag.
The green bag. We've got green bags everywhere outside there at the moment. They look amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful bright green. Can't miss it. And it's all around the place in the garden centres.
Now, trends change in gardens. We see different kinds of trees come and go. What are we currently on trend when it comes to deciduous trees?
Backyards are getting smaller. Dwarfing trees or large trees that you learn to shape up, that's the way people are going. Yeah.
Balhanna Nurseries, the nursery you can trust. Thank you, Sam, for being part of Best of SA. And I can't wait to get out there and look at your baby trees.
Yeah, let's go have a look.
Well, for your chance to win a $150 voucher towards fruit trees and 2 tickets to our Best of SA dinner that's taking place this Friday night, 16th of June at Adelaide Oval, give us a call now, 8223 0055. Take a piece of the hills home from Balhanna Nurseries via your local gardening centre.
Love the old green bag, Balhanna Nursery trees. They've got an amazing strike rate. I've got about 7 of them at home and never had any problems with them. They've all taken well. They fruit well. And they got all the dwarf ones as well. So you get your dwarf Granny Smith, your Johnny, pears, you name it. Good stuff.
Ryan on the Duttons text line's come up with a good idea for the...
You'd know how to kill one.
I'd know how to kill one.
Just look at it.
Oh, it's my special skill. Ryan on the Duttons text line's come up with a good name for the new Beatles track that's come out with John Lennon remastered by artificial intelligence. Oh, I get by with a little help from AI. That's not a bad idea.
Lucy in AI.
Lucy, Diamonds. Yeah, if you've got an AI-inspired track name for us, text it through on the Duttons text line, 048008 1395.
There's so many Beatles songs to pick from.
Reimagining John Lennon's voice. Well, it's sort of remastering it. It's not being created from thin air. They've used demo tracks from the Peter Jackson documentary that got uncovered. So it is John Lennon, just tidied up.
We're actually having a conversation off air. It's conceivable in 10 years' time that, say one of us is crook, and, you know, we never take sick days. You've got to be absolutely at death's door not to front up in this job. Even if you've been to the Harvest Rock Festival all day, you still eventually make it in some form. But quite possibly, in a decade's time, we could say, look, you know, say you've got some child-related issue, and you've got to take your kid to the hospital or something. We'll say, well, look, we'll just AI your half of the show.
It seems totally achievable.
Yeah.
I mean, but 2 years ago, this would have sounded like science fiction, but the speed at which things have changed. I actually think the thing that will change first will be things like advertising, where usually we have to stick around and record some advertisements for companies if they want to promote things. Now you could just say, yeah, I'm happy for you to use my voice in an ad.
Yeah, yeah.
And then on the next
so I could say, okay, we just need to push the will button on the AI machine and get, you know, excitable sort of monologues about American basketball, top shelf economic analysis, and with me meandering anecdotes about Mexico and impromptu recipes thrown in.
And then the person paneling just looks like a keyboardist. You just sort of hit the buttons.
Like Rick Wakeman.
I think that's the exciting new future that awaits, folks. Buckle up. Have we got a winner yet, Luce, for the Bauhanna Nurseries?
Get your lottery. You're going to tell us who the winner is, Luce?
Is
that a state secret?
Philomena has won the $150 Bauhanna Nursery voucher.
Philomena?
So take a piece of the hills home.
Philomena will be able to fill a boot with trees after that.
Correct. Take a piece of the hills home from Bauhanna Nurseries via your local gardening centre, and we'll see Philomena along on the FIVEAA Best of SA event, Adelaide Oval, on Friday night. We're going to take a break. We'll check traffic. David Koch is coming up in just a moment.
Thanks, Will. At Crafers, after a major crash involving a beatable truck on the freeway near the Stirling ramp, the outbound track now has one lane open. However, do look out for slippery conditions after a fluid spill there, while inbound is open with solid delays and speeds reduced. Busy Greenhill Road at Anzac Highway, also Brighton Road at Somerton Park, with cameras the Porter Expressway, Wingfield, and Yorktown Road at Elizabeth Park. The Audi end of financial year event is on now, presenting you with an exciting opportunity across a range of exceptional models. Drive progress today. Ends June 30. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
On 5AA mornings, a jackknife truck blocking the southeastern freeway this morning. Is more driver training required? And David Jones records a sales slump of 30% and almost 40% at one of its stores. What's the future for major department stores in Australia? I'm Matthew Pantelis. Join me from 9.
We told you they'd go quick. Over 70% of tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery have already been sold. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate $4 million grand prize and live mortgage-free right near the city. With over 70% of tickets already gone, you'd better get yours now. Join the fight. To see full details and get your tickets, visit homelottery.com.au. Licence M14364.
It's time to raise the bar. If you're organising an event, anything from a small meeting to a grand gala, you'll know there are many things to consider. So trust the experts at Adelaide Convention Centre to help you elevate your vision. With the support from our team at every stage, you'll be amazed at what can happen in turning each aspect into an unforgettable experience for both you and your guests. Contact our team and discover the magic to elevate your vision at Adelaide Convention Centre.
Good food and great times. That is what's on the menu at the Griffins, a gem of the city's east, overlooking leafy Hindmarsh Square.
It's such a great space, and there's 6 versatile, customisable areas. Let the Griffins function team host a productive work conference or create a memorable celebration lunch. Birthdays, engagements, even weddings, the Griffins Functions team can help you create magical memories.
Get to the Griffins for their $20 Griffins burger and beer, wine or softie deal. That's a beef, chicken or veggie burger with a pint, wine or softie for just $20. Available for lunch or dinner 7 days a week. Check out thegriffins.com.au. Be sure to follow them on Facebook for all the latest events.
Good food and great times at the Griffins, the place to meet, Hindmarsh Square.
Introducing Nissan Future Value Business Plus, a new fleet finance solution for small to medium businesses offering competitive weekly repayments including the cost of scheduled servicing for the loan term. Available now on the Nissan Navara SL 4x4 Dual Cab Auto. Plan confidently for the road ahead with Nissan Future Value Business Plus. Visit nissan.com.au/business plus or contact your local Nissan dealer. Approved ABN registered small to medium fleet applicants of Nissan Financial Services. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Save even more on a low-mileage demo Cherry Emotive 5 now at Cherry Glen Osmond. Go Cherry.
13 to 9. Ryan started something on the Duttons text line. We're getting all sorts of suggestions for the name of the new Beatles track that's going to be released by Paul McCartney with the help of artificial intelligence. Rob says, I am the walrus. One person says, let it bleep. Let it be, being reimagined. Barry in Athelston says, all you need is AI. If you've got any more suggestions about the what the name of the new AI track might
be. Tell you something. AI want to hold your hand.
Keep them coming, 0480 1395.
I've been texting Blakey during the ad break. He's like a dog with 2 tails at the prospect of AI Beatles. I think you can expect a sketch along those lines, probably on Friday Songs or something.
Excellent. Looking forward to that. Been looking forward to this as well. The chairman of the Port Adelaide Football Club, formerly the host of Sunrise, David Koch, joins us on 5AA Breakfast, having presumably had a sleep-in, Koshy. Good morning to you.
Oh, good morning, team. I've been for a walk this morning. It's been got a coffee on the way. It's been I feel like a new man.
Is it hard to get out of the habit, though, Dave? Like, have you found yourself waking up at like 4 and going, oh, hang on, that's right, I don't have to do that anymore?
No, not at all. It was. It's been catching up, I think, so yeah, quite easily sleepy in on because I thought, right, I'm going to have this routine of getting up at 6:30 because I'm a routine type person, and for the first time in 20 years, yesterday, the first time the routine, I slept through the alarm clock.
Oh, how good! What do you think What do you think your standard wake up time will be now?
Well, I reckon 6:30 because I need to get healthier and all that sort of thing. So I reckon I'm going to miss the routine the most, and that's the thing that I'm most concerned about. Sort of, even though I've got a couple of other jobs, the family businesses I go to, and Port Adelaide, and I'm sort of still on agreement with 7 till the end of next year. So I'll be doing sort of some of the big interviews and specials and things like that. And we've got a couple planned for next month, so that's exciting. And do
you reckon it'll change the way you feel about what passes for news at times in Australia? Because I sort of find if I'm on holidays, I find that I suddenly end up with a long list of things I don't care about, and I'm just thinking, for the life of me, watching. To the extent that I could physically bring myself to watch it, watching what passed for question time yesterday in federal parliament, like in the midst of a cost of living crisis, I don't think I've seen a more self-indulgent pile of irrelevant Canberra insider crap than what happened there yesterday. Yep,
totally agree. And I reckon you have a filter that is more honed when you're on the holidays to what interests you rather than just everything in terms of the entire news spectrum, which when you're working in the industry, you've got to be across everything. And so you just focus on what interests you and your filter becomes a lot more attuned, I reckon.
Yeah, totally.
Kochie, there's that saying that's been around forever that the US sneezes and Australia catches a cold when it comes to the world of economics and downturns and so forth. Does it go the other way if the US starts feeling better, good times ahead for us? Because the inflation data that came out overnight would suggest that things are trending in a very positive direction in the United States.
A very positive direction in the United States, and largely because their wage system is very different to ours, and we're not getting the wage inflation. They're not getting the wage inflation that we are. And this is the thing that's really, really annoying me at the moment because, look, I like Jim Chalmers. He's a good bloke. He's smart. He's a Paul Keating disciple. I can't help but wonder whether he's sending us into the so-called recession we had to have, because you can't play the good guy and then crucify the Reserve Bank for making the hard decisions when your decisions are the reason they have to make the hard decision. Now, to come out and be the good guy and say, everyone gets a wage rise, a bit like Oprah, you get a wage rise, you get a wage rise. Might make you feel good and get political points, but the Reserve Bank sits there and goes, well, our inflation isn't coming down as quickly as the United States because of the Reserve Bank says the stickiness in the service sector, which means basically the wage rise because wages underpin the services sector. It's the biggest cost for the services sector. And so that has yet to flow through the system. So whereas the US inflation is coming down quite nicely, ours are stubbornly staying up there. And look, I'm a half glass full sort of bloke, but I'm now thinking that there's a way better than even chance that we'll go into a recession and quite a tough recession. And while everyone goes, oh, that could be good for the economy in the long run, recessions are horrible for average Australians. They're horrible for small business owners. They're horrible for average Australians who lose their job and they're under financial pressure, which ripples to, pressure on marriages and, how you feel and on your kids. you just don't wish it on anybody. So we shouldn't be taking this lightly. And I reckon the government's got to get on the bandwagon and do their bit.
Hey, Koshy, normally the prospect of a Thursday night blockbuster, you'd be stuck there in Sydney going, oh, I've got to get up in the morning.
Yep, no, I'm there. You're right.
You'll probably be flying into town early, getting yourself some nice food at the market, kicking back.
Absolutely. Then having dinner with you guys on the Friday night.
Exactly right. Here for the best of SA.
I know. That's going to be sensational.
Yeah, no, that's going to be fun. So I'm looking for a big night on Thursday night, but everyone keeps saying to me, oh, what a run you guys have had. And then I remind them of 2018 when we were 11-4 and didn't make the finals. So let's not get too carried away with ourselves.
No, I remember that season well. I've got it on DVD.
Yeah, thanks very much. I know. So,
no, I got to say, though, after watching you guys last Friday, particularly Zach Butters, my God, 2018 ain't happening, I don't think. You're the real deal.
Zach's fantastic. Connor's fantastic. Horn Francis is great. But you look at Willem Drew, what he's doing. That middle ranking, the troops, as I call them, of the team. Willem Drew, Ollie, Trav, they're all giving these young guys the opportunity. So it's a real team effort. Trent McKenzie, no one talks about him. And he's like a rock-up back. So, it's a good balance in the team.
We're looking forward to having you in town and catching up later this week, Koshy.
Good on you. Look forward to it.
Cheers, Dave. David Koch, Port Adelaide Football Club chairman. And now I think he's also, his other moniker now is FIVEAA's economic analyst.
Yeah.
FIVEAA breakfast finance expert, David Koch.
Well, he knows his stuff. Now, what about this toaster? We're going to give that away? Do we have any time for any more rumours? No, we've got some John Blake coming up.
All right, we'll go behind closed doors, then we'll announce.
It's a crowded field today.
We got some great rumours just after 8 o'clock.
Really good.
We'll assess them with the judging panel in a moment. First, though, behind closed doors, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing, and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed...
Adelaide's best breakfast program.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
And welcome back to 5AA Breakfast. And David Penberthy, welcome back to you too.
Yeah, g'day, Will. How you going?
I'm really well, David.
Open 7 days, including Sundays.
Coming up, Lucy's movie bowl bar. The big talking point, of course, was the Crows' performance against West Coast on the weekend.
Oh, you know what?
What, David?
That was probably the most fun I've ever had watching a game of football.
Oh, yeah, outstanding and great for Tex as well.
Oh, yeah, I mean, what do you say about that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what do you say?
Absolutely.
Just,
Oh, yeah, it was just, I don't know, it was just,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. 10 goals for the game. I mean, imagine how much better it would have been for Tex if they'd been playing the Lockleys under-14s.
Oh, absolutely.
He would have kicked 20 goals.
Yeah, that's right.
And imagine if they'd been playing the Pulteney Grammar under-9s. He would have kicked even more.
Oh, he would have gone down in history as the best player ever.
It's just incredible.
Oh, it sure is, no matter who you're up against.
That's for sure.
Okay, it's time for this. And Lucy Logan, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David.
G'day, Luce.
Do you know how much buzz this segment is creating around town? More people stop me to talk about this segment than any other segment on the show.
Yeah, me too, the same.
I do too.
You can see us three anywhere, stopped on a street corner, surrounded by people asking questions.
That's right.
That's right.
I like it. I've been recognised at Etsa Park. I've been recognised in the chemist. So a big thank you to all the people who recognise me and want to chat about movies.
That's great, isn't it, Luce?
That's right. I welcome all discussion about movies on the air, off the air, or in random places that I go to during the day.
You've got to say, don't you, that this is the most approachable breakfast show in town.
It's just Lucy's very popular, and so is the segment. We got a Smeg toaster to give away, sitting here, like Chekhov's toaster in the studio. Building or renovating, your first choice will be visiting the Smeg showroom at Devney Distributors. Takes the difference with Smeg. Who are we giving it to?
Excellent bread-themed contributions all morning. We had heard from Baguette, we heard from Sourdough. We're going to give it to Focaccia, though, for the hot rumour about the as-yet unidentified supermarket chain that's about to have GPS locks on their trolleys to stop the trolleys disappearing.
Makes a lot of sense.
Certainly does, and saves you the hassle of having to find a $2 coin to use one.
Matt Pantelis is coming up. We'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.
It's tax time at Bunnings Trade. Get in for amazing tax time deals on tool storage, like an AEG 3-piece quick stack toolbox for $200.